It's Friday, and around PNC Park, it's Free Shirt Friday. Those fans hoping that Joel the Hammer Hanrahan can nail down a victory at the end of this one. It's game one of a three-game set between the Pirates and the Florida Marlins. Hi, everybody. Along with Steve Blass, I'm Tim Neverett. The Bucs are back tonight after a well-earned day off yesterday. The guy who certainly earned a day off was Andrew McCutchen after his 2-home-run performance against the Houston Astros 2 nights ago.
He was great, and when he is cooking, Tim, he is so much fun to watch. He's got the power, he's got an arm, he moves so well, and he proves that when he is on, he can go deep to any direction, any ballpark. This one to right center field, a big part of the ballpark, and he's able to hook one inside the foul pole down the left field side, and so you never know what you're going to get from Andrew, and he is still maturing, so he'll have these kind of nights. Every once in a while it'll be flat, but he had a good one Wednesday.
Andrew McCutchen hoping to stay hot. He is our PNC achievement for the Achiever in You. Second multi-home run game of the season. 22 home runs this year. That's 5th in Pirates history among all center fielders that have played here. Well, the Pirates looking to go on a fishing expedition tonight. They haven't had great luck against the Florida Marlins in recent years, trying to turn it around. A 6-14 record over the last 20 games, 20-31 since the All-Star break. 134 home runs allowed, that's 7th most in the National League. 87 stolen bases they like to run. 54 by Bonifacio and Ramirez, combined 33 by the rest of the team. The Marlins will face Pirates right-hander Ross Ohlendorf tonight.
Yeah, and that running game will give him a challenge tonight. And, you know, he's kind of rusty. He's almost in a spring training mode. We went out in April. He hasn't pitched much since then. So we'd love to see him have a positive experience tonight and maybe a couple more times so he's got something positive to take into spring training next year.
Ohlendorf looking to go deep, looking for a win against Marlins right-hander Ricky Nolasco. It's the Marlins and the Pirates. Game one of a 3-game set coming up from PNC Park.
Sports is sponsored by Barrel Automotive, Barrel.com, definitely worth the click, and by PNC for the Achiever in You. Let's go, Bucs!
The Hammer, Joel Hanrahan, with his own T-shirt tonight. That's the Free Shirt Friday giveaway. Pirates fans would love to see him finish it up the way he did 2 nights ago. Another clean inning and racking up another save. Pirates look to win the first game of this 3-game set. Ross Ohlendorf looking for his first victory here in 2011. He'll face this lineup sent out by manager Jack McKee and Emilio Bonifacio, the leadoff man, a switch hitter. Omar Infante, Greg Dobbs, and then Mike Stanton, a pretty good power hitter. 32 home runs. Logan Morrison. Jose Lopez is at first base with Brian Peterson at center. John Buck behind the plate. Ricky Nolasco doing the pitching and batting 9th against Ross.
And you hope that Ross can just kind of keep his mind clear and just let his instincts and talents take over, that he doesn't get caught up in the fact that the wins haven't been coming on a regular basis and then some. So just let it go. You're good enough, Ross, without putting too much in that. Let the body take over.
These are the guys behind him in the field. Presley, McCutchen, and Ludwig in the outfield. Pedro Siriaco makes a start, his second start this season at shortstop. Neil Walker and Derek Lee on the right side. Ryan Dolan behind the plate catching Ross. So Pedro Siriaco getting a look tonight in the starting spot. Seen Chase Darno out there recently. Of course, you've seen a lot of Ronnie Cedeno this year. Now Pedro Siriaco makes his second start of the season. Here's Emilio Bonifacio, batting left-handed against the right-handed pitcher Ross Ohlendorf. Got to keep him off base. 34 stolen bases on a team that likes to run. First pitch is in for a strike.
And one of the keys for me for Ross Ohlendorf against anybody right now, because he's still trying to build his velocity up. So it's all about control until you get back to that speed place where you know you can throw it well over 90 miles an hour. The control has to be that much better. When you start throwing harder, the control maybe doesn't have to be quite as fine. But right now, he's 88, 89. And at that speed, he needs to be where he wants to be in the strike zone.
2 balls and a strike to Bonifacio.
You're 93, 94. You can pretty much throw the ball wherever you want to in the strike zone most of the time. But 88, 89, that fastball has to be placed.
2-2 the count. Calling the balls and strikes tonight, C.B. Buckner. And the crew chief, Dale Scott, is at first base. Jerry Meals at second base. He's from Butler originally. Mike Estabrook at third. Second time Meals has been back. Third series of the year umpired by Jerry Meals. Full count to Bonifacio now.
Been a long time since we've seen the fish. And,
it's been since April.
Yep. Need a little payback after that sweep of the Pirates by Florida.
Payoff pitch is drilled to center field. Going back, McCutchen. 1 out. So Ohlendorf gets the first out of the ball game. Omar Infante will come up next. And in the dugout for the Florida Marlins, 81-year-old Jack McKeon.
He can't get rid of the itch, the baseball itch. He's back in uniform where he wants to be. And he's old school. He likes good fundamentals. He has patience with young players, but like a lot of managers, doesn't have a lot of patience with guys who don't play the game in a fundamentally sound fashion. Jack McKeon, he's a guy that knows how the game should be played.
I got a little ahead of myself. He's 80. He'll be 81 in November.
Don't do that to guys our age. Operative word R. O-U-R.
He makes. You're not. In his category age-wise. This one hit well to left, and it's gone. Omar Infante with a solo home run, and it's 1-0 Florida.
I hope we don't have the same kind of start we saw Wednesday night when the Houston Astros went long ball and long ball. Strike zone presented by Range Resources, and that is in the wheelhouse. That is in the wheelhouse. He gets a lot of it. He gets it to the right part of the ballpark. And the fish biting at the Pirates.
You mentioned the start against Houston the other night. Back-to-back home runs by Carlos Lee and Matt Downs on Wednesday. Pirates still able to overcome that. So Infante, his 4th home run, 38th run batted in. So Marlins on the board early. And batter is Greg Dobbs, third baseman. Lifts this one into right center field. It'll get down for a hit.
You know, and the point I was making earlier applies to Infante. At 93, 94 miles an hour, that ball in the wheelhouse, you'll get away with it some of the times. At 88, 89, you'll not get away with it most of the time, and he didn't there.
Barrel Automotive League leaders stat, one of the top home run hitters in the game, Mike Stanton. Tied with Matt Kemp of the Dodgers, behind Dan Uggla and Albert Pujols. Barrel Automotive, definitely worth the click at barrel.com.
And an emerging star.
A lot of his home runs are majestic, towering fly ball home runs. He doesn't get many cheapies.
Well, he's going to have to earn it tonight because there's absolutely no breeze showing. The flags are, if there is a wind, it's blowing straight down. The flags are doing nothing.
We'd see the blades of grass moving if that was the case. Siriaco makes the leaping grab, 2 outs.
In on the hands, good pitch delivered by Ross to take the big swing away from Mike Stanton.
That'll bring up Logan Morrison.
That pitch delivered in on the fist. Almost strong enough to get it over the head of Siriaco. Strike zone presented by Range Resources. You can see how far that pitch was in. Pedro doing a good job because every once in a while with a big swing and a ball hit off the handle, you can jump too early thinking the ball was hit better than it was. So you have to time that jump, and did a good job. And if you do it right, it looks easy. But you can go up and come down without the baseball sometimes in that kind of a contact situation.
0-1 to Morrison. And now it's 1-1.
A little power potential here, huh? 18 long balls for Logan Morrison.
Logan had to deal with being sent back to the minor leagues. Wasn't very happy about it. It turned out where it worked out for him as he is now back in the big leagues. But sometimes that can be a blessing in disguise for certain players.
Well, a lot of us have done it. We're going back down after a rookie year. Jay Bell went back down, chapter and verse of good players that have gotten to the big leagues and don't cut it right away, and you go down and say, boy, that was fun. I want to get back there.
Well, guys don't like it at the time, but there's always a reason. Morrison making the most of his opportunities since coming back and has a base hit there. Third hit this inning off of Ross Ohlendorf, and with 2 outs, Dobbs is at second base, Morrison at first.
Just a routine ground ball. Sometimes these go at people, and sometimes they go between people. This one goes between. Nothing different from that single than a ground ball 4-3, just location.
Traffic on the bases here in the top of the first against Ross Ohlendorf. Solo home run by Omar Infante, then a follow-up single by Dobbs. Now 2-out base hit by Morrison. Jose Lopez, the first baseman, now will stand in there. 231 the average for Lopez, 7 homers. 2 on and 2 out for the Marlins. 1 run is in.
And this is a start following last outing for Ross in Chicago, where he went 4+ innings, giving up 3 runs on 7 hits. A couple of walks, so a lot of base runners in 4+ innings.
Now to third. Harrison step on the back, get the force play there. 1 run on the home run by Omar Infante. And the Bucs to the bat rack in the bottom of the first. Infante hit it. Pirates lineup brought to you by Toyota. Presley Walker in the 2 spot tonight. McCutcheon, then Derek Lee and Ryan Dolan. Ryan Ludwig out in right field. Josh Harrison back at third. Siriaco, the shortstop, hitting 8th. And Ollendorf hitting 9th against right-hander Ricky Nolasco for the Marlins.
And he has done very, very well. You see his record overall this year, 9-10, 4.39 ERA. Got off to a great start. He was 4-0 coming out of the gate. It has been a struggle recently, but it has not been a struggle career-wise for Nolasco against the Pirates. 7 starts, a 1.81 ERA, 4-3. 7 starts, 14 earned runs given up. So he has been tough on the Bucks.
Alex Presley looking for another multi-hit effort. Seems like that's the order of the day with him. He had 2 more hits. Went 2 for 4 in the game against Houston on Wednesday. Behind 0-1 here. .314 the average. A pair of home runs. He's driven in 13. And has done well at the top of the batting order. 0-2 to Presley. Neil Walker's had to move all over the batting order. At 3rd, 4th, 5th, 2nd. Back in that 2nd spot tonight. One ball, 2 strikes now to Presley. Facing 28-year-old Ricky Nolasco. 1-2 pick. Inside 2-2. Nolasco 6'2", 223.
Out of Corona, California.
Kutch's new saying, you got to shake it to rake it.
I thought that was a cocktail shaker for a minute there, but no.
Oh, he's into the shake weight. He just sort of bought the thing on a whim one time. He had seen it on television and said, I'm just going to get one, try it out. And he's been using it and likes it a lot. So keeps it with him in the dugout everywhere he goes.
If he uses it and can hit 2 home runs every night, that'll work. Now, Ricky Nolasco hates to walk people. He's one of those guys that is really, really touchy about that. Good call as you take a look at the strike zone presented by Range Resources. So sometimes these are good hitting situations because the guys that hate to walk people, 3-2 counts, 3-1 counts, they will come further into the strike zone just to make sure they don't issue that walk. They just really get caught up in it.
It's my kind of pitcher. Doesn't like to walk guys.
And he's every manager's kind of pitcher in a way.
Nobody likes to walk guys. So the 8th pitch of the at-bat now from Ricky Nolasco to Alex Presley. 3-2. And Presley slams this one foul out of play.
Ricky, don't lose that number. He's walked 40 in 29 starts. Very good. A couple of complete games of shutouts. So not only good, Ricky Nolasco is durable.
So the payoff pitch again coming to Alex Presley. On the way from Nolasco. To Infante at 2nd. 1 out.
There's Ricky. Last time out against the Phillies, 112 pitches, but take a look at the last 4 starts. And that's including a start where he gave up 11 runs. And that'll bump that number out very, very well. Take a look at his Pirate numbers. As we told you, 181 ERA, 9 games, 7 starts. He's had some good years for Florida since coming over from the Chicago Cubs, who he originally signed with. Came over after the 05 season. And there's his good stuff against the Pittsburgh Pirates.
No earned runs.
Yeah, doesn't get much better than that. Good off-speed pitch right there. Yeah, and last year he won 14. The year before that 13, and then in 2008 he won 15. So he's been quite consistent. sitting on 9 wins this year after a real good start.
1-1 to Walker. In there for a strike, 1-2. It's also the Marlins' career leader in strikeouts. On the 23rd of August against the Reds, he surpassed Dontrell Willis with an 8 strikeout performance. He's got 133 strikeouts this season. 1-2. Foul out of play down the left side.
You talk about a team missing a stud. Josh Johnson missing from the Marlins, and everybody you talk to around the Marlins camp will tell you that he was so good. He almost kind of dragged guys along. They got caught up in the wash, and you know, he carried kind of a staff along with him to a degree in terms of setting a great example. But he has been out. He has been hurt.
Nolasco's wind in the 1-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Neal. Base is empty, 1 out. Bottom of the first, 1-0 Florida. A home run by Omar Infante. Strike 3, strikeout number 134 this year for Nolasco. You talked about Johnson being out. Another important player for the Marlins out is their all-star shortstop Hanley Ramirez. He's been on the disabled list since August 11th with a sprained left shoulder. 60-day DL put on there Tuesday. He's out for the year now. And in 92 games at .243 with 10 homers, 45 runs batted in, and 20 stolen bases. It's our AGH injury update brought to you by Allegheny General Hospital Sports Medicine. Andrew McCutchen takes high for a ball.
They got all kind of things going on. Dobbs playing third base. He was originally kind of a guy that they wanted to come off the bench, but he's playing on a regular basis. So nobody's immune from the injury bug.
A lot of guys, bench players that are playing every day.
Yep. Well, especially this time of year, of course. But you can make some all-star teams up from the disabled list, the Major League disabled list.
McCutchen takes strike 2. 1 ball, 2 strikes to him. Even Bonifacio's settled into that leadoff spot. Utility guy now has to be the everyday shortstop with Ramirez out. McCutchen pops this one up. Lopez will make the catch, and the Pirates gone in order in the bottom half of the first inning. Through 1 full at PNC Park, it's the Marlins 1, Pirates nothing. Hanley Ramirez on the 2nd of August against the Mets in New York made a diving attempt, and that's when he injured his shoulder, and effectively that play has put him on the shelf for the rest of the season. A lot of pain involved in that, certainly. Boy, that's got to hurt. And Hanley Ramirez Tuesday transferred to the 60-day DL, ending his season. Ross Ollendorf pitching to Brian Peterson, the center fielder. It'll be Peterson, Buck, and Nolasco. 7, 8, 9 in the Marlins order, facing the right-hander. You ever had a shoulder injury, quite, anything like that?
No.
Falling on it the wrong way, or
no? Doesn't look like much fun.
Ramirez, he's a tough individual. To see him in that kind of pain, that has to hurt. Shoulder pops right out of there.
Well, they've got some guys that have gone on the disabled list with discomfort. I've had that.
This one up in the air. Foul ground. Harrison giving it a run. So is Siriaco, and Harrison can't come down with it. Two and two now the count.
Long trip down in the left field area. Many times you'll see the shortstop having the better angle, going more sideways than completely with your back turned to home plate that the third baseman has to do. Many times the shortstop will take charge of that play, but he's actually got further to go because of that angle where he's at shortstop.
Well, I guess if you can't play, you may as well clean up. Omar Infante was hitting like a cleanup hitter in the first inning.
Well, that's doing it all, isn't it?
Hits home runs, sweeps the dugout.
It's a guy that wants to stay around.
Peterson popped it up left side, and Siriaco calling for it. One gone for the Marlins here in the second.
Well, that thing that Infante was doing used to be part of the thing you could do to stay around when you're hitting 210. Sweep the dugout floor, do the laundry after the game, knock the dirt out of the spikes, dive after everything, no matter where the ball is hit. If you're the shortstop, it's hit deep right center field, dive. Get the uniform dirty. About a list of a dozen things you could do to hang around, show effort. Sweep out the dugout. I like that.
John Buck, the Marlins catcher, fouls the first pitch on. Yeah, we don't catch many guys on camera sweeping the dugout.
No.
A lot of guys don't want to be caught on camera sweeping the dugout.
And you really don't want to do that at home. If you have a dugout at home.
No. Even if you don't. I don't even know where the broom is.
I know where the timeout chair is. It's just the two of us there.
Been there recently?
So one-legged duck swimming circles.
1-1 pitch, and Buck hits a ground ball to Cedeno.
Even Siriaco.
Siriaco, yeah. Well, you had me on the one-legged duck thing. Just 2 down. Well, good for Pedro to get a chance here tonight to get the start. Get in there. And there you go. That might be the one-legged duck.
No, he's swimming straight. Looks like he can go to his left pretty good. No.
He goes to his right, too. Might be a point guard. Two outs for Nolasco. 64 this year. And he's got himself another hit for Nolasco. 4th hit of the season. 4 hits and 48 at bats.
And hit it right on the button. Strike zone presented by Range Resources. Nicely done. Gets the body out of the way a little bit. We can get the hands back in so he doesn't hit it off the handle.
His batting average just spiked. Back to Bonifacio as the bunt is way on.
And there's nothing little about Ricky Nolasco. It's not little Ricky. At 6'2", 230, 235 in that range.
1-0 to Bonifacio. He flied to center his first time up, 0 for 1. Finds himself ahead of Ohlendorf. 2 balls and no strikes.
Say hi, TV.
Hi, TV.
No, that was Hi Stevie.
Oh, was that what that was? Hey, Ryan.
Say hi. Say hi. Get your hand out of your mouth.
It's about listening to and following directions, isn't it?
Yeah. Get him out here early. Get him hooked on baseball.
As soon as he stops chewing on his thumb, he'll start watching the game. Here comes Presley, but he'll have to play it on a hop. Bonifacio with a 2-out single. Back-to-back hits with 2 down.
And both hits, the same type of hits, getting out to the outfielder on a short hop where Andrew had to kind of smother it, and that one had to be smothered by Alex Presley.
Here's Infante again. Didn't bring his broom with him to the plate, brought his bat.
Okay.
Infante 1 for 1, batting with 2 down and 2 on.
So again, Ross needing location without that 90-plus fastball. You need to move that ball around better than normal, more consistently than normal. Move it around in the strike zone. 5 hits so far here in an inning plus.
Infante's now hit 3 straight for the Fish. 1 for 3 in the last game Wednesday. .277 average against right-handers, just a little bit better than he hits with runners in scoring position. .269. Ohlendorf falling a little behind here. 2 balls and a strike. Marlins left 2 on in the first. They've got 2 on here.
Yeah, and the Pirates don't care too much about Nolasco at second base. He's a pitcher trying to run the bases, so there's a chance even on a base hit to the outfield that they would not send him.
3-1. This has been a very, very difficult, trying year, certainly mentally as well as physically for Ross. Struggled with the shoulder injury early, a lengthy rehab. Just hasn't been back yet. His longest outing was a 7-inning outing in AAA against Louisville. Or rather against Charlotte, I beg your pardon, on the 29th of July. That was his last win. But his 7-inning outing was indeed against Louisville.
Running up a pitch count in the 2nd inning. You've got a loaded bullpen in terms of bodies, but this game is about Ross having a positive outing rather than how many guys you're going to run out of the pen if he struggles. If you have to go to the pen early, yeah, that's a problem. But the bigger problem is that if that happens, it means that Ross hasn't gone as deep as you'd like to have him in this baseball game.
Ready for the payoff. The 3-2 rip past Harrison fair. Nolasco will come around third and score. Presley will play the hop off the wall. And into second with a run scoring double is Omar Infante. 2-0 Florida. Infante has driven in both runs. And the 2-out single by the pitcher Ricky Nolasco get the inning going.
This ball was hit hard. Look at the strike zone presented by Range Resources, and Harrison not sitting on the line is not able to get over there in time. The ball just hit hard enough to get past him before he could get to it, and this helps Nolasco as that ball bounces back in toward the outfield, makes it more difficult for Presley to charge the ball, not knowing whether it's going to hit that part of the fencing or go down into the corner. And now Ray Searage out to talk to his starter. And it's another struggling beginning of a ball game for Ross.
Well, you can follow the Pirates with the MLB.com @BAT11 app for your iPhone, iPad, Android, or BlackBerry. Get live audio, pitch-by-pitch tracking, video highlights, and more. Text at bat to 31826 or visit Pirates.com for details.
And right now you need Ross Ollendorf to get an out and not let this ball game get out of hand early with Nolasco out there. And again, that is secondary to the Ollendorf story tonight. The focus from a Pirate standpoint is on that man right there. Good time to get a big out.
Facing Greg Dobbs. Fires in a strike. Ollendorf has gone 14 straight starts without a win. Only Dontrell Willis now of the Reds has more with 15 straight. That's a streak that Ross wants to end. I mentioned his last win of any kind came in AAA against Charlotte in late July. This one will make it over the dugout and into the seats.
And that wears on you. You consider that what, one win last year, no wins this year. I mean that wears on you.
Well, that win you're talking about was against the Philadelphia Phillies on the 2nd of July. That's the last time he's had a win in the big leagues, and that's why you talk about the mental aspect of this thing, because you just got to get on the other side of that. You got to get that win, and it's kind of like hitting the restart button. That's what Ross is looking to do. Second and third, 2 outs, the 0-2 pitch, and Dobbs hits this one to right. Racing over there, Ryan Ludwig.
There you go. That helps.
1 run comes in on 3 hits after an inning and a half. It's the Marlins 2 and the Pirates nothing.
Pirates Baseball on Root Sports is sponsored by Day Automotive. We're going to make your day. Let's go Bucks.
Let's take a look at our day key matchup for the ball game. Derek Lee against Nolasco. 3 out of 10 in his career with a double and a home run. 48 career games against Florida. 290 hitter with 11 home runs. Day Automotive. We're going to make your day. 2-0 Marlins. Bottom of the second inning.
I wanted on the books, Tim, that I just killed a spider in midair. I want you to tell Bob Walk that I was not afraid to kill the spider that he is terrified of. So there's one less spider in the booth when he comes back to do TV next time.
He'll be relieved. Yeah. He'll be definitely relieved.
He does not like the spiders.
Derek Lee in the air to right center. And that ball is going to be caught by Mike Stanton. I've actually seen Bob throw his headphones down and run out of the booth.
For a lot of reasons. And spiders being
one of them.
Robert. Spider-Man. The Bob Walk story. You see, they can make a film out of that. And he knows it.
He says,
knows. Yeah. What's going on?
You showing
me?
Why? What he's saying.
Yeah. What now? He's saying, what now? Well, Bob, it's called a little payback for all that stuff you say about older ball players, veteran people that are no longer playing, that broadcast that you make fun of.
Oh. Ryan Domit at the plate. 1 out. Here's the 0-1 pitch. This one's ripped into right field. And around first is Domit. He's going for 2. Stanton stumbles, leaves the baseball behind him. And Domit in with a double.
Mike Stanton looked like he didn't want any part of that play. That was a very sluggish approach to that ball that was hit down toward the corner. I don't know if he's hurting or what, but just looked, I don't know, maybe I saw it wrong, but it looked rather indifferent, him getting over there. This ball is ripped down into that area.
Looked like he might have taken a funny step right about here.
Well, he stepped on the ball.
Oh, that's why it was a funny step.
Didn't seem to be all that much urgency.
1 out, runner in scoring position for Ryan Ludwig. Popped up. Lopez chasing it. And it's just out of his reach. And
closer to the Parrot.
Yeah, the Parrot, I think, scared him off.
There's our hidden weapon right there. Take another look at the ball hit by Ryan Domit. There's the real good news. I don't know if there's something physically bothering Mike Stanton that we don't know about, perhaps. So just to really withhold judgment on that approach.
Right at Bonifacio.
You can't hit it much harder. Is that a brace on that knee? So yeah, I'll retract my statements of implying perhaps lack of effort. If he's hurting, then he's got to be a little careful out there. Sorry about that, Mike.
He's bigger than you.
Yeah, I did give him props too in the first inning. I said an emerging star in this league.
Remember that, right?
Yeah, please.
He did say one nice thing about you. 2 outs for Josh Harrison.
Well, so far the good news for the Pirates is that the Fish only have 2 runs. They've got 6 hits. They've left 2 men on in each of the first 2 innings. It's still just a 2-0 ball game. It could be worse, but you know, on the other hand, it could be better. That ball that Ludwig hit could be in left center field, and it could be a 2-1 game. So you get some, you don't get some.
0-1 coming to Josh Harrison. And
there we
that's
go.
into center field, a base hit. And Ryan Domit will be held at third, not deep enough to get him in. 2-out single for Harrison. Runners at the corners for Pedro Siriaco.
Nice bit of hitting, it looked like, from Josh Harrison. This ball down and away. Well, not so much down, but outside. Reaches out. Doesn't touch someone. It's out in the center field.
Had to put the brakes on.
And they're not playing very deep against Josh Harrison, so that ball got out to Peterson pretty quickly.
Pedro Siriaco with an opportunity here with 2 on and 2 out. There was a time this season when I think Pedro had more legs of plane travel than he had at bats. Up and down, up and down, up and down, and kind of like that escalator. But Glenn Hurdle said that he's handled it as professionally as possible, and they've given him a checklist of things to do every time he goes back, does them. One and one now to Pedro. Siriaco came to the Pirates organization last year along with Chris Snyder. The deal the Bucks made with the Arizona Diamondbacks sent Bobby Crosby, DJ Carrasco, and Ryan Church out west. And Siriaco to left field. That gets the first Pirate run on the board.
There you go.
Way to go, Pedro. Domet comes in and makes it a 2-1 game.
Little 2-out business. So they figured it out. Ludwig hit the ball hard. It was right at somebody, so we're just going to drop some balls in and around people and get yourself right back in the ball game. See if Ross can help himself.
Good speed on the bases here. Harrison at second. Siriaco at first. Now Ross Ohlendorf looking for his second hit of the season. He's 1 for 7. Nolasco got one. Why not you, Ross? Nothing in 1 to Ohlendorf. Oh, 1 pitch.
Just working him hard outside, and Ross chasing, and those are tough pitches for anybody to hit. Let's see if Nolasco comes back inside or just playing upstairs. What Buck does in terms of his body, they still want to go outside, sitting on that outside corner.
Ohlendorf puts it in play. Dobbs foot race to the bag, and he beats Harrison there for the force out. But the Bucks get one back. Double by Domet and an RBI single by Pedro Siriaco.
On Root Sports, and Clint Hurdle got career win number 600 on Wednesday against the Houston Astros. Of course, he got career win number 1 back in 2002 and is thrilled to have been in the big leagues for almost 10 years and now have 600 wins.
I'm humbled every day I get the opportunity to manage. I haven't kept track. I did not know until Jimmy put it in the other notes that I was close to 600. I can't tell you. I know I got more losses than that as a manager. So if I'm looking at anything, I'm looking at closing the separation from wins and losses. That would be a focus point. But I know they're put as the manager's wins and losses, and I get that. But it just means you've been fortunate enough to do it for a longer amount of time than probably a lot of other guys.
Guys, the win that stands out the most, well, it came in 2007 in game number 163. That's right, 163, the one-game playoff between the Rockies and Padres, which the Rockies won and then moved on to the World Series.
That's right, and they won on a controversial play at the plate when Matt Holliday slid home, and to this day no one is really sure if he actually touched the plate. But it was a thrilling game. nonetheless.
What a thrilling finish to the year. What were they, 21-1 or something like that going down the stretch? I mean, incredible.
Stretch unlike any other.
Incredible story.
So he's working on win number 601 tonight. Ross Ohlendorf looking for win number 1 this year.
And Mike Stanton, who we found out has had a hamstring injury, and that tells us the story about being a little careful out in the outfield approaching those balls that he has to run for and reach for.
Yeah, that was against the Phillies when his hamstring tightened up on him on the 3rd 6 days ago.
Well, he sometimes hits the ball far enough where he doesn't have to run real fast and doesn't have to get out of the batter's box very quickly. So that's not the case right here.
So just 2 at bats since he had the hamstring issue. They're pinch hit at bats. So trying to get back into the full swing of things here tonight. 1-2 pitch to Stanton. Hot shot over the outstretched arm of Neil Walker for a base hit. So Stanton aboard with nobody out. Inside Pirates Baseball is highlighting the 10 greatest Pirates pitching performances of all time. See where your favorite ranks and tell us what you think on Facebook.com/RootSportsPit after the show tonight, 10:30 on Root Sports. And Stanton has gone out of the ballgame. I guess his hamstring is not cooperating with him well enough.
Well, that's certainly a break for the Pirates with his home run potential. Ross now has given up 7 hits, but that's the bad news. The good news is he has stranded runners. So there's a little side to that he has not let the ball game get away in spite of a bunch of hits so far and a bunch of pitches thrown.
Those hamstrings can be so aggravating. They will not cooperate with you if you don't let it heal right the first time. Logan Morrison smashes this one to the right field corner. Donnie Murphy around second, heading to third. He'll stop there. Throw into second. Hits off of Morrison, and Murphy will score. It's 3-1.
That ball is blistered to right field, and Ryan Ludwig had a chance at second base, but the traffic created by the runner coming in, the throw coming in, they got the deflection, and the pinch runner just keeps on coming around. That ball is hit very hard. The throw, the traffic off the runner, and that's how the 3rd run is created for the Florida Marlins.
Well, the error is charged to Ryan Ludwig on the throw. A double for Morrison. No RBI. And E9 allowing Donnie Murphy to come in. Now watch Mike Stanton, who got the leadoff hit. Told you he's had the hamstring issue. And he's walking rather gingerly around the base. And says to first base coach Perry Hill that he might not want to take a chance tonight.
Former Pirate coach Perry Hill.
The Texan, Euless, Texas, and a Metroplex to right field, and he's making another run in. Ludwig making the play, holding Lopez at first base, and another run does indeed come in as Morrison will score. It is now 4-1, and the Pirate bullpen now active. And Lopez looks like he may have a hamstring situation.
Dropping like flies, like base hits. These base hits are dropping in like flies, and Lopez will depart. Maybe there's something about that first baseline. Yeah, you can see him. You can see him backing off that approach to first base.
Lopez is out, and Gabby Sanchez will come in and assume first base.
This is contagious.
It's amazing what it is. And not good news, really, when you think about it, especially at this point in the year. Daniel McCutchen loosening up.
There's been so much action. I don't know who ran for Stanton. Who was the pinch runner for him?
Donnie Murphy.
That's what I thought. Not really. Thank you.
With the double by Dobbs in the second and the double by Morrison here in the third inning, Florida Marlins now have played 8 straight road games with at least one double. They have 2 tonight. They're behind the Dodgers, who have 9, but the leader in that category, Steve, far and away, the Cincinnati Reds. They've played 23 straight road games with at least one double.
I would have never guessed they keep track of that particular stat, but they do.
Keep track of everything in this game.
Indeed. The stat that jumped out at me a little bit when the Marlins came in, they've got an above 500 winning percentage on the road away from Florida.
34 and 33. They have done well on the road. At home, it's been a different story. 29 and 46. There's a base hit to right field by Peterson. And Ross Ohlendorf is being hit around the ballpark here in the third.
Well, you're almost kind of naked if you don't have a fastball that can keep people honest.
And that's going to be it for Ross. Clint comes out to get him.
10 hits in 2+ innings.
Quick hook tonight for Ross Ohlendorf. And boy, a disappointing night for Ross. Certainly nobody's more disappointed than that man right there. A tough road for Ross in 2011. Pitching change at PNC Park. 4-1 Marlins. Two-plus innings, 10 hits, 4 earned runs, didn't walk anybody, didn't strike out anybody. 52 pitches in 2+ innings. And Ross Ohlendorf lifted from the game early. Daniel McCutchen will have to tow some innings behind him here.
Numbers 4, Daniel coming out of the Pirate bullpen.
So McCutchen takes over for Ross Ohlendorf, and he will face John Buck, the catcher. 4 straight hits to start the inning. Stan, the base hit, pulled up lame, and Donnie Murphy ran for him. Logan Morrison went out and got a double. Jose Lopez, a base hit. He pulled up lame, and Gabby Sanchez now running for him. He's at second base, and Peterson a base hit at first. And the first pitch thrown by McCutchen is a base hit to left field.
Wow.
By John Buck. Nobody out, and the bases full of Marlins.
These are just frozen ropes, too. There's not much cheap about these. Maybe it's just one of those nights. Nolasco blistered a base hit out in front of Andrew McCutchen his first time up.
Sanchez, Peterson, Ollendorf's responsibility, and Buck belongs to McCutcheon.
And the Pirates hoping they can get Nolasco to hit a ground ball at somebody, get a double play. Jack McKeon probably hoping he strikes out, so it only costs him 1 out.
Ball 1-2 Nolasco.
And everybody on the Pirates side hoping that Daniel McCutcheon also throws a bunch of strikes to Ricky to establish an out here in the top of the third. Tough to come by.
Well, Nolasco, coming out of Rialto High School, had an opportunity to sign a letter of intent with Southern California college powerhouse Long Beach State. And the Chicago Cubs money was greener than the field at Long Beach, so he signed with the Cubs out of high school. There's a strike. 1-2. Opposing number 9 hitters have a .214 average, second highest in the National League. Mets on top of that category, not one you want to be on top of, with a .218 average.
No, for the most part, not all situations, but for the most part, you should be knocking the bat out of the hands of the pitchers.
1-2, base hit to center field. Nolasco 2 for 2. He will score Gabby Sanchez. It is 5-1.
And nobody out here in the top of the third. And that ball hit hard on a 1-2 count.
Nolasco just drills this one back up the middle. He came into this game with 3 hits on the season, Steve. On the season. And he has 2 tonight.
Ouch.
Emilio Bonifacio with the infield drawn in, nobody out. And he hits one in the air. It'll hang up for McCutcheon. Throw is off the mark, and another run comes in. As Peterson scores from third base. 6-1 Florida.
You got an out of it.
John Buck stayed at second base. Nolasco at first, and here is Omar Infante, the 8th man to come to the plate this inning. And that will close the book on Ross Ollendorf, as he is going to be responsible tonight for 6 earned runs. Infante homered in the first inning, drove in himself, then drove in another run with a double in the second. 2 for 2. He has driven in a third of the Marlins' runs tonight.
And there's just, you wish there was something you could say for Ross, having gone through this game tonight and this season and last season. A good guy who's fallen on very, very hard times. You hope that he can bounce back, but you know, you're right. You're talking about this weighing on your mind. Darn right. And even if you know you haven't pitched much in almost like a spring training mode, trying to get your speed back, your strength back, it's a terrible feeling to just get knocked around like that in a Major League Baseball game.
1-1 pitch. Infante hits this one deep to left field. Presley going back, and it is off his glove and into the seats for a home run.
Well, and what can you say about this? This is just a mess.
Are you kidding me? Wow.
You got to see this one to believe it. Looks like the ballpark is going to hold it. Presley goes back. He's at the wall. He's got the glove, and the ball bounces out of the glove, but not down until it clears the wall. The close-up. The glove is there, and it just kind of flops over into the stands for the home run.
5 RBIs in the game for Omar Infante. 3 for 3 with 2 home runs. And a gift of a home run that time.
AGH
just hit him on the heel of the glove.
Yeah. Has to bounce that way, right? Can't bounce straight down.
To left field, and Presley's got this one. The fans giving him a little bit of a Bronx cheer.
Well, you knew that was coming.
Dobbs is out, and the Marlins have hit around here in the third. Boy, oh boy, 7 runs. They have scored in each of the first 3 innings. 1 in the first, 1 in the second. Now 7 here in the third. Donnie Murphy, who scored the first run here, but did it from a pinch running standpoint after Stanton started with a single. Murphy's first at bat. He loops one over the head of Neil Walker for a base hit.
Incredible.
Eighth hit of the inning. I don't know if it's all that often you see this, when a guy who leads off the inning gets a base hit, and then the guy who pinch runs for him gets a hit in the same inning.
Not often.
And Daniel McCutchen is coming out of the ball game. Not his night. It's tough to have 2 pitchers back to back not having their nights. By Clint Hurdle tonight. 9 runs on 14 hits for the Marlins. That's right, 14 hits. It's not a typo.
Yeah, and no free passes, no hit batters, 14 hits.
And did we mention we're in the top of the third?
No. Not till just then.
Aaron Thompson made his major league debut with the Pirates as a starter on the 24th of August against Milwaukee. Got a no decision, but pitched well.
4 1/3 or something like that. Right where it says 4 1/3.
Second major league appearance for Thompson. A left-hander facing Logan Morrison. Morrison 2 for 2. He doubled this inning and scored. Had a single back in the first. Strike on the inside corner, 1-1.
We've been having trouble having the ball get from the pitcher to the catcher.
There's been a bat that's been running interference.
It's, you know, it's an age-old baseball story. You know, the manager comes out and asks the catcher what kind of stuff has he got, and the catcher says, "I don't know, nothing's gotten to me yet." Don't want to make light of the situation, but it's old story. Probably doesn't need to be used tonight.
Too late for that.
Yeah.
2-1 pitch coming from Aaron Thompson. 3 balls and a strike. Thompson began the season in Altoona in Double-A, went 4-7 there, 28 games, started 12, then was promoted to Triple-A Indianapolis on the 10th of August. 1-0 there, 284 the earned run average. And Morrison crushes one. This one is way out of here.
That will bounce down onto the shrubbery, perhaps into the water.
A 2-run home run for Logan Morrison, his 19th, and it is now 11-1 Florida, as the Marlins are hitting everything thrown at them.
And he just gets into this one. That's that typical left-hand hitter. Get under the ball and just give it a big, high, long ride. He knows it the minute he made contact.
Every hitter in this Marlins batting order has at least one base hit. Morrison has 3. Infante has 3.
Well, another look. And that's what they call a big league home run.
And another visit to the hill. Ray Searage will come out and visit with the young lefty. 2 men out in the top of the 3rd. 9 runs have been put up. 15 hits already in the game. And somehow, some way, the Pirates pitchers, and I think this goes without saying, need to try to settle these hitters down.
Perhaps let them know you're out there.
Sanchez hasn't had an at bat yet. He's the only guy in the lineup without a hit, but he came in as a pinch runner for Lopez.
And Tim, if you go in that direction, you want to let them know you're out there, and somebody gets hit, you got to be careful you don't get carried away with it. You know, it can be done. Send a message, hey, we want you off the plate. Even if you hit somebody, you don't have to throw around somebody's head, and you don't want to make it, well, too obvious. Although if you hit somebody, it's going to be pretty obvious.
3-1 now to Gabby Sanchez.
But every old-time pitcher that might be watching this ball game, and you got one here, is saying, hey, get him off the plate, let him know you're out there.
That one pretty close, called ball 4.
Well, there's the first free pass.
You know, that's the thing. I mean, typically you see a score like this, you figure there's a few walks involved. That's the very first one. Great look into PNC Park.
Great look on a bad night.
Not a lot of traffic on the Clemente Bridge. Brian Peterson had a base hit earlier this inning. He is 1 for 2.
And you know, on the other side of the coin, the people over in that Marlins dugout, if somebody gets hit and it's not, you know, it's somebody's head, if you're professional, you're going to understand that. I mean, if you know baseball. And the Pirates certainly have not done a lot of that, and that's been documented verbally by the manager, Clint Hurdle, who said he'd like to see more of it.
1 pitch that's fouled away, and that was in Ross Ohlendorf's last start in Chicago when Ramos Ramirez and Carlos Pena were hit in back-to-back at-bats.
And you know, people might say now it's 11-1. It'd be a moot point if you hit somebody. Yeah, in a way I can understand that thinking, but still, let's let them know you're out there.
Here comes the 1-2. That is ripped foul past Eric Lee. And what Clint was saying, he wasn't saying, let's go out there and hit somebody. He said, pitch inside. He just said, you
get him off the plate.
You got to get him off the plate. You have to pitch inside. And he was a little bit, I wouldn't say a little bit, I would say a lot disgruntled at the pitching staff for not looking out for the hitters. And Andrew McCutchen, who's been hit more than anybody on the Pirates team this year, 9 times. And, you know, not any purpose pitches sent back. In other words, throwing inside, getting the guy off the plate. But sometimes they're going to be too far inside. Sometimes the guy's going to lean into one. And another base hit. Well, Peterson is 2 for 3. And the hit parade continues for the Marlins in the 3rd. Ten hits this inning is a Florida Marlins team record for the most number of hits in an inning.
I should hope so.
We have 2 outs in the top of the 3rd.
And we're not counting pitches anymore. We're counting minutes.
And it has taken us 37 minutes.
This will be the 38th
for
minute.
This half inning. John Buck singled and scored earlier in the inning. He was the first to face Daniel McCutchen. And on the first pitch McCutchen threw, Buck hit a line drive to left for a base hit. Buck grounded out to short in the 2nd inning. So Aaron Thompson in. 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 on, and 2 men out, and the pitch to Buck. Inside for a ball, 2-1. Everybody has at least reached base. Look at Gabby Sanchez. He was the recipient of the first walk of the ball game. He is out at second base. Pitch up high, 3-1. And you start to think at some point, I just want to get it out, pitch to contact. But they've been pitching to contact, so it's been and the contact has been the unfortunate kind. 3 home runs, 2 by Omar Infante, and 1 by Logan Morrison. Popped up. Catcher Ryan Domich sheds the mask. He'll call it a 9-run inning by the Florida Marlins. After 2.5 innings, 11-1 Fish. It's part 2 tomorrow night, 7:05. Don't miss the final Zambelli fireworks night of the season. It's also an Eaton Park Scratch and Win Saturday, where all fans receive a scratch card. Good for prizes from Eaton Park. For tickets, visit Pirates.com. Sure, you're out here join us tomorrow night. Well, Pirates hoping to start some fireworks of their own.
And no fish could set off fireworks, but they have.
Changes defensively. Bonifacio moves from short to right field. Gabby Sanchez stays in, plays first base. And Donnie Murphy is the new shortstop. Top of the order for the Pirates. Alex Presley takes a strike. Presley had the 3-run home run by Omar Infante go off the heel of his glove. Looked like he was going to catch the ball at the edge of the warning track up by the wall. It hit the heel and bounced up and over the wall for a 3-run home run, adding insult to injury in the third.
And that'll be on every blooper tape and reel from now on. It'll be part of those home runs that have bounced off the top of a head or a glove or an arm.
To first base, and Gabby Sanchez will handle it. 1 out.
Another look. Off the heel of the glove. And just a little flop over the fence. Alex Presley will not forget that little play right there for the rest of his life. And hopefully he'll have 10 or 12 years in the big leagues to think about it.
Neil Walker takes time for a ball.
So what does Ricky Nolasco think about all this? Well, he likes it a lot. And he hopes that he won't change his particular approach, but he'll try to emphasize a lot of strikes, and that's what he does. That's part of his game. We talked about that early. He hates to walk people, and that's a very good quality to have when you have a 10-run lead.
You wouldn't figure there are many reasons right now at this point in the game for him to throw anything out of the strike zone. 1-2 to Walker. A lot of the balls that the Marlins hit were not cheap hits either.
No.
A lot of hard contact.
Line drives.
And Donnie Murphy can't make the play. Neil Walker gets aboard.
Just to flesh out that number for Nolasco, 29 starts coming into tonight's activity. 17 of those starts, 17 of those 29 starts with 1 walk or less.
This will be a base hit for Walker. 4th hit for the Pirates. He hasn't given up. Too early for that.
Right, thinking that fellow thinking right there that we've finally positioned ourselves in a spot where we can make one of the greatest comebacks in Pirate history.
Got him right where we want him.
Yep.
Here's the 1-0 pitch to McCutchen. 1 ball and 1 strike now to Andrew. Andrew's multi-home run performance against the Astros Wednesday. Saw him drive in 4 runs. Leads the club with 85 runs batted in. 4 multi-home run games in his career. 3 of them have been 2 home run games. He had 1 3-home run game against the Washington Nationals.
You know, you think about that 2 home run game. So impressive. Deep right center, deep left field. And that coming on the heels of either the night before or the night before that, really a kind of a flat game for Andrew. And he's going to have him. A lot of people forget that he just has a little over 2 years of major league service, 2.5 years up in the big league. So there are still parts of that game that that are going to have those kind of flat nights. But boy, he sure cleared the air Wednesday.
Flies out to Bonifacio and right. 2 men gone for the Pirates, and Derek Lee will come up, the former Florida Marlin.
prior to the time he went to the Cubs. He knows something about the 2 home run games. He had one his first game as a Pirate.
It was against the Cubs. Like before playing that Houston Astros series, all of his home runs as a Pirate and all of his RBIs as a Pirate were against the Cubs. As a Marlin, 6 seasons, 264, 129 home runs, drove in 417 runs.
Averaging some 90 RBIs a year.
Won a World Series there.
Won a World Series there, and supposedly one of the biggest championship rings of any major sport in terms of size, like a doorknob.
Yeah, exactly.
Was it Perry Hill that had one?
Yeah, I mean, it looks kind of like
ostentatious.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think. I think your description of it is good. One of those crystal-looking doorknobs.
Yeah, I got to give credit where credit was due. Lanny Fratteri saw one of those, and he said that's it, and that was a good description. Looked like a doorknob.
1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Walker at first. Ricky Nolasco pitching to Derek Lee. Two and 2.
Jack McKeon knows what those rings look like.
The,
Trader Jack used to be called.
Yeah. He managed that team that won that World Series. Second one in Marlins history. And Lee down on strikes, and the Pirates are done in the bottom of the 3rd inning. We'll head to the 4th at PNC Park, 11-1.
Baseball on Root Sports is sponsored by Toyota. Buy right the first time and save more. Visit your local Toyota dealer for details. And by AT&T. Let's go Bucks!
Back here at PNC Park with Dan Potash and Steve Blass. I'm Tim Neverett, Aaron Thompson. Pitching here at the top of the 4th inning. A one-sided game to this point. That's an interesting looking. Are there birds on their shoulders? I thought it was just one hat, and I saw 2. Took a double take. I think they have cardinals on their shoulders.
Don't you want an angel on your shoulder? Yeah, they do.
Or a parrot. Or
parrots. Yeah,
they're
pirate parrots.
Of course. Why would it be a cardinal? It's red, but
wait a minute. The pirate parrot's green, isn't he?
That was the only parrot they could find. Ricky Nolasco pops out to Siriaco. Let's take time out for our AT&T Mobility Trivia question, brought to you by AT&T Mobility. Tonight's question, Leo Bonifacio has 34 stolen bases this season, most for a Marlin since Hanley Ramirez 35 in 2008. Who holds the Marlins season record? We can eliminate John Wayner right now, I think, right?
Yep, I know that, but I can't. The leadoff batter, I can see him. No, I can't see him. Have to work on that one.
0-1 to Bonifacio, and he pops it up. Siriaco backpedaling again. 2 out. Let's see. I'm trying to think of a couple of hints for you here, but
come on.
Let's see.
The short guy with a small head.
Yeah, the guys in the truck are telling us that he had the smallest hat in baseball.
So it's not Bruce Bochy.
No, Bruce has the biggest hat. He wears like a size 8.5, 9. Omar Infante's had himself a week tonight. 2 home runs, a double, 5 runs batted in. By the way, the last time the Pirates allowed 9 runs in an inning, April 26th of last season at Milwaukee. Nice diving stop by Neil Walker. And the Marlins, for the first time tonight, retired 1-2-3. To 1 heading to the bottom of the 4th inning. Pirates fans, we want to hear your questions about the game. Text the keyword booth followed by your question and name to 412-412. We'll ask your question to Steve a little bit later on in the game. Remember, message and data rates may apply. 412-412.
Think this is the right night to do that?
It could be. You never know. 2/3 of that number, at least the first part of it, 2/3 of the Pittsburgh area code is a Doman with 41. Fouls this one to get Brandon Wood to stand next to him. It'll be 4-1-2. I remember the picture in spring training that was taken with. Did he go? Yes, he did. And Doman strikes out. With one of the minor league coaches, P.J. Forbes, and one of the former players here, Josh Fields, standing next to each other and said Forbes Fields.
Oh, very good. Very good.
Ryan just couldn't hold up the swing. And a number of the minor league coaches here, AAA staff is here. This is customary now, Major League Baseball, where the AAA staff, when their season's over, they come up and they get to work with the guys that were just with them in AAA. Get to advise the Major League staff on pitchers and position players, and just all around help out and be around the personnel.
Dress out, make the trips.
1-0 pitch.
But just 2 more trips after this homestand, a long trip, and then a 3-game homestand to finish out the home season. Then what? Go to Milwaukee and finish up.
Yeah. So you got Dean Traynor on the right, the manager of the Indianapolis Indians. Next to him on the inside, Jeff Branson, the hitting coach. I mentioned to Dean in the clubhouse today. I said, welcome back. Picked a good time to go. We're leaving for Los Angeles, going to Southern California Wednesday. I said, yeah, that's a good time to be on the road. Going to LA and Phoenix, and then the last trip, the final 3 games of the season, will be in Milwaukee. So 2 more road trips for the Pirates. And then the end of this homestand will feature 2 more games after tonight with Florida. And 3 with St. Louis, including an early game. Matinee on Wednesday at 12:35 against the Cardinals. And then just 3 more after that against Cincinnati at home. That's it. So 23rd, 24th, 25th will wrap up the home schedule here at PNC Park.
Never had a chance to be a September call-up, but after a lot of minor league seasons, went to play Arizona Instruction League ball, went to Dominican Republic, so there was baseball after minor league seasons, but not in Pittsburgh.
And after major league seasons, how many times did you play winter ball?
I played 2 years in Arizona and 1 year. Oh, I'm sorry, one year in the Dominican Republic. That was a strikeout, and that's 3 in a row for Ricky Nolasco. So, 2 in Arizona, a couple in Florida later on, trying to get it back, and 1 in the Dominican Republic.
Let's take a look at our AT&T Mobility Trivia answer. We're going to tell you who the guy with the real small hat was right now. It's Emilio Bonifacio. Has 34 steals this season, most since Hanley Ramirez 35 in 2008. He holds the Marlins record for the most steals in a season. And that would be
Joe Smith. I have no clue.
You don't know? All right, let's show it. Juan Pierre stole 65 in 2003.
I won't argue. I didn't know that. I actually thought it was earlier than that. Somebody back in the day.
You said you played 1 year in the Dominican Republic.
It was wild, 63.
Wasn't that the year where they, well, of course it was the only year, but wasn't that when they would bring the automatic weapons on the buses with you?
Well, they had machine gunners.
They
had machine gunners in the dugout. They called them Capablancos. And it was a country of unrest. I don't know why we went down there. Honeymoon. Just got married. And we were down there to work on things. And they're primarily down there because they said they paid me $1,350 a month with no tax. So where's the pen? Sign me up. But I learned a slider down there. But it was politically unrest because Trujillo, the dictator, died or assassinated or suicide the year before. So the country was in chaos.
3-2 pitch, and Harrison one hopper to Donnie Murphy. And the Pirates down 1-2-3 for the second time tonight. On to the 5th at PNC Park. 11-1 Marlins. Go back to October 25th, 2003. A swinging bunt handled by Josh Beckett. And a complete game shutout victory for the right-hander. And the Marlins would win the second World Series title in their history. After 97 and 2003, beat the Yankees. Great moment for that franchise. One of those guys in that picture there, Josh Beckett. Saw Mike Lowell also. Ended up going
Jeff Conine
to Boston. Those two, and yeah, Jeff Conine. Still see him around there once in a while in South Florida.
By the way, they'll be called the Miami Marlins next year in their new yard.
That's right. On November 11th, they will have an unveiling of the new uniforms, the new logo, and a lot of changes with that organization next year.
Well, the fans in South Florida over on that side have never come out in record numbers playing in that football field. It looks like an abandoned space station out in the middle of all that sand.
Greg Dobbs rolls this one to Walker, and there is one out.
But they're going to be inside, so the sweltering heat, the rain, they won't have to deal with that.
This was built on the site of the old Orange Bowl, so back in the city of Miami, and the new yet to be named stadium. They were very, very happy with it. They had to build the roof first because of the timing on the calendar due to hurricane season. So they had to make sure the roof could be constructed, then closed, and then all the workers could work inside. But they've refurbished that area. And Tommy Hutton, a color analyst on Marlins TV, came in with his iPad, showed us some other photos that they've taken, and very impressed. Very impressed. It'll be 180 degrees difference from where they play now at, let's see, what are we calling it? Pro player, Joe Robbie, Land Shark. Yeah. They've had so many different names. It's a part of the business of sports, unfortunately, but it has created an interesting dynamic into where the Miami Dolphins and Florida Marlins have played.
Well, it's so hot down there in the summer, and you probably counting on people with maybe some discretionary income that are a lot of retirees. Plus, it rains every afternoon.
Up in the air for Donnie Murphy. This one's deep to the left center field gap, and it is off the base of the wall. Murphy around second and into third base. Safe with a triple. Donnie Murphy almost hit that one out. That's gone in a lot of ballparks, but not here.
Yep. Trying to ring the doorbell of the Marlins bullpen. And they don't open the door.
First triple of the season for Donnie Murphy.
And hit number 17.
Logan Morrison takes high for a ball. Well, a lot of folks very excited, though, in South Florida. They do feel, because of the fact they'll have the retractable roof stadium, that on days early and late in the season when it is nice, and certain nights when it is nice, they can open it up, have an outdoor game. But they do think that the majority of the season, that roof's going to end up being closed due to the number of rain delays and rainouts they get, and not necessarily
just comfort.
Yeah, comfort too. But the other thing that they have an issue with that I think gets overlooked is a lot of times batting practice gets shortened because of those afternoon storms that just roll through and they don't affect the game at all.
I was amazed the first time I went down there. The guys for the Marlins, we got off the bus and the Marlins, they're wearing shorts to take batting practice. No, that's just not right.
You know, you see that more in the minor leagues in the West, where it gets very, very hot in the summer. They're taking batting practice when it's consistently 105, 110 degrees.
Yeah, well, they say there's no humidity.
Hey, hot's hot. Strike on the inside corner to Morrison. Morrison is a triple away from the cycle. Single double home run. He'd probably like to trade Donnie Murphy for Murphy's hit.
And just to finish up that Dominican Republic story, of course, that was the year in November when we were down there when John F. Kennedy was assassinated. And talk about being in a chaotic country. Another base hit, of course.
Morrison now 4 for 4. It is 12-1. An RBI for Logan Morrison.
Having himself a night. Just having himself a night. So there was a very interesting off-season, to say the least. But going down to a country and seeing a country that's completely obsessed with baseball. And probably figuring that was what they had going for them in a positive sense, and not much else, to be quite honest.
Gabby Sanchez walked in his first plate appearance. He's the only Marlin without a hit. Aaron Thompson delivering the 1-0 pitch. And a ground ball through the left side, and now every Marlin's got a hit. Let's take a look at our Dairy Queen text poll question tonight. Do you think the new Marlins Stadium will revitalize baseball in South Florida? 1 for yes, 2 for no. Text your answer to 412-412. And everyone who participates has a chance to win a DQ cake that's so good it's ridiculous. Message and data rates may apply. And considering the fact that they've had the ballpark to play in that they've still managed 2 World Series winning teams. But, you know, you go down there when they're not very good or a very average team, it's not hard to find a seat.
It'll revitalize baseball in the Miami area if they have a good product.
You'd have to suspect, though, with all the hype that's gone on with the building of the stadium, that the curiosity factor will be there right away.
Well, it'll be a couple of years. It'll be the novelty. It'll be the attraction. I'm sure they're going to do a good job with it. So yeah, it'll be very successful. A couple, you get a couple years worth of mulligans.
They're supposed to have more construction around the ballpark, Galleria type area, restaurants and so forth, along with shops. And so it should revitalize not only baseball, but that area where there really hasn't been much going on.
Well, with 2 world championships, they still really didn't draw all that much. But the ballpark was out in the middle of nowhere, and then it was a football field. I mean, it was a football stadium.
1 ball, 1 strike pitch. Ground ball to the right side. Derek Lee turns, gives the ball to second base, where Siriaco records the force out. 2 men out now, and runners at the corners. Brian Peterson is aboard for the 3rd time, although he's 2 for 4 after the fielder's choice. Sanchez retired 3-6 on the put out in the middle.
Jared Hughes, who made his major league debut the other night. What did he get? 2 outs and 2 pitches?
Yeah, that was pretty good. That was almost as good as Tony Watson throwing 1 pitch and getting a win. Base hit to left. Another run comes in for the Marlins. John Buck delivering an RBI single. And it's 13-1. Second hit of the night for Buck. 20 hits.
One of those nights. It is one of those nights, and Clint Hurdle is going to bring in Jared Hughes. He's going to make at least one other change. It looks like Alvarez is going to go to 3rd base, so there's going to be a pitching change and a new 3rd baseman at least.
So Aaron Thompson will be lifted from the ball game. Clint Hurdle telling C.B. Buckner what he wants. CB's writing it down. We'll write it down too. I'll break it down for you when we come back as Pedro gets in the game in the 5th.
debut, and here he comes. And he's running fast, but not nearly as fast as his heartbeat. First pitch, bouncer back to him. That takes a little bit of the edge off. Bouncer to short. Stanger makes the play. Just clean work as Neil Walker makes the play. Handles it again himself. The big man having himself quite a debut from Stamford, Connecticut, to growing up in the Los Angeles area. I talked to him before the game today. I introduced myself because I'm from Connecticut. I wanted to see how much time he spent there. He said they moved at a very early age. He said, I've never been so excited in my life when I came into that ball game. That's great. Good stuff.
He delivers a swinging strike to Ricky Nolasco. He's 6 feet 7 inches tall. Pedro Alvarez in at third base. He'll bat second in the bottom of the fifth, inserted into the 9 spot of the order. Hughes comes in the 7th spot for Josh Harrison. Inning and a third of scoreless work in his big league debut. The very expressive Jared Hughes. And 2 to Nolasco. 2 out and 2 on for the Marlins. They've added a couple of more runs this inning after a 9-run third. There's the 0-2 from Hughes. A little chopper in fair ground. Pedro's got a charge. Throws on the run and gets Nolasco. 2 runs and a pair of hits. It's 13-1 Marlins in the 5th. Front. We go to the bottom of the 5th. Pirates are pleased to welcome first responders from around the region to join us for a special First Responders Appreciation Day at PNC Park this Sunday. Pirates host the Marlins at 1:35. All local and current first responders are eligible for 2 complimentary tickets. 5,000 complimentary tickets will be donated for this event. Tickets are subject to availability and will be distributed while supplies last. For more information, visit pirates.com/firstresponders. There will be a lot of remembrance of the events of September 11, 2001 all over the country, certainly, and here at the ballpark as well on Sunday, and we'll have that for you. Coverage of it inside the ballpark pregame right here on Root Sports. Pedro Siriaco, 1 ball and 1 strike. He's 1 for 1. RBI base hit in the 2nd inning. That was when the score was 2-1. If he can cut the lead in half with this at bat, I'd like to see it. Like he did the last time he was up.
Indeed.
Here's the 1-2 to Siriaco. Dobbs fields, spins, throws, and he got him. Siriaco now 1 for 2. Greg Dobbs, pretty good play at third.
It's all going the Marlins' way tonight, for sure.
Well, Pedro Alvarez comes up for the first time. Well, Pedro's going to get at bats here down the stretch. Not sure. I don't think anybody's sure right now how many starts he will get. But Pedro Alvarez trying to find his way again in 2011. You go back last year, Steve, the month of August and September he had. Absolutely outstanding. National League Player of the Month in August, and September he carried on and had a very, very good month. And you would have hoped that would have carried over. And it just didn't seem like it did in spring training. Coming out of spring training, a slow start. And a quad injury set him back for a while, an extended rehab. Came up, didn't get it done, went back to AAA. Finished the season with Indianapolis, and now as a September call-up is here in the big leagues.
You're noticing something different about Pedro. Is he going to take that big? Okay, there he is. He takes. That's been kind of a trademark of taking that practice swing. And, he does it after every pitch that's delivered that he doesn't put into play. The reason I bring that up, somebody mentioned to me, a fan in our neighborhood, and there's a ball that's hit well to center field.
That's
very well.
Way back, and it is off the top of the wall. Alvarez will round second. He'll head for third base. And Pedro will be in with a stand-up triple. And that's going to make the fans stand up here at PNC Park.
We've been waiting for a lot of feel-good at-bats for Pedro, and they haven't been coming on a regular basis, but he gave that ball a ride. And with no help from any breeze, that's a little indication of how far Pedro Alvarez can hit the ball. See on the strike zone where that pitch was located. He is that strong, and because he got the great bounce off the top of the wall, and this didn't miss much by getting out of here. About 2/3 of the way up, and then Peterson gets caught between the wall and the ball, and Pedro's off to the races. The point I was making, somebody said, why does he practice that swing? Isn't that the same swing that he struggles with? And but you know that gets into a complicated area.
Alex Presley takes a breaking ball for a strike.
You've got routines you get into. You've been successful for a lot of years. I don't think it's a big deal that he takes his particular favorite practice swing in between pitches. But I was asked about it, so I thought I'd address it. I'll leave that up to the batting coaches. And Pedro.
0-1. He's fouled off. So Pedro's first triple of 2011, his second career triple.
And here's where he realizes he's got room to go to third base. He sees that play completely in front of him. He sees the ball bounce well off the wall back toward the infield and knows he's got a good chance to get in there.
His last triple, Steve, came almost a year to the day, pretty close. September 15th in New York against the Mets in front of his home crowd. And a base hit to left field. Alex Presley drives in Alvarez. It's 13-2. So the comeback has begun.
Yes. Slice and dice out into left field. So what you look for in this kind of game is just little bits and pieces of positives. And take out of it what you can.
One out for Neil Walker. Bouncer over the mound. Infante takes care of two at once. Pedro Alvarez, first triple results in a run. 13-2 after 5. Event, the Sporting Clays Invitational, held yesterday at Seven Springs, and what an amazing course it is. It's kind of like golf. You go around station to station, but it's golf with a gun. Pirates chairman Bob Nutting is an excellent shot, by the way.
Sounded like a war going on.
Yeah, James McDonald tried his hand at it. Neil Huntington, general manager, shot a 77 out of 100. That's very good. Jeff Bannister, the bench coach, see it and hit it. And then yours truly, 1, 2, and this is what happens when the Clays shoot back at you. Watch. Whoa. You think you're defenseless, you know, when the Clays start shooting back at you.
My arm hurts, and I can't hear anything, but I told my wife that, and she said, that's just age. Tell me what happened up there.
You know what the amazing thing was, though, really, out of all that? There were 3 stations yesterday where there were deer in the direction we were shooting in, and none of them got hit. And they're just there. They weren't spooked by the shots or anything. It's just amazing to me when you've got a gun pointed at a deer and you're shooting in the direction of the deer and he doesn't care.
Yeah.
He or she.
Well, the scariest thing was they gave Greg Brown a shotgun and a lot of ammunition.
Bonifacio ground ball to Walker. 1 out. And see, there they were.
Yeah, who's going to shoot at Bambi?
Well, we were shooting in the general direction of Bambi, but we didn't hit any, fortunately. But it was a great event.
Pirate Charities once again.
Clint Hurdle did very well yesterday, and Pirates Charities did very well. In fact, Clint was presented a check for $7,500 for his Wins for Kids program that he and his wife Carla are involved with, supporting the Prader-Willi syndrome and
I'll tell you
foundation and raising money for that organization.
That is a world-class Sporting Clays venue up there. I was shooting with some guys who take it very seriously, and they say it's as good as they've ever seen, and they shoot all over the world.
I was shooting with some engineers that came down from Cleveland, some structural engineers, did a lot of work here at PNC Park. They were trying to tell me how, you know, when the Clays turn a certain way, why they do what they do. This ball hit down to Alvarez. Strong throw. Derek Lee had to lean out toward the outfield. They record the out.
Strong arm of Pedro. He cuts it loose, and Derek Lee not looking too graceful, but Derek finds a way to get the job done at first base.
A number of players took the event in yesterday on their off day and had a good time. It's the one thing that when you go to that event, Steve, and you just, you know, the surroundings that you're in.
Oh, beautiful.
It's just gorgeous. We had a perfect day weather-wise for it.
I got the chance to do both the morning and the afternoon session. That's 20 stations at least 5 shots per. That's 200 shots. And that was done.
Siriaco throws him out, and Jared Hughes. Jared Hughes has retired 4 in a row. Doman hits one down to the right field corner for a double. Mike Stanton, who's had hamstring troubles to begin with, steps on the baseball. Right there. That's the Coors Light Freeze Cam, brought to you by Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer. Stanton would leave the game shortly thereafter after getting a base hit his next time up. Matt Dominguez has replaced Greg Dobbs at third base for the Marlins. Andrew McCutchen leading off against Ricky Nolasco. This is game one of a 3-game series. Marlins on top. And the reason the score is where it is, a 9-run third inning. Ross Ollendorf started the game. Daniel McCutchen came in. Aaron Thompson followed, and Jared Hughes for the second straight outing. He's had 2 major league outings, and in both of them, he's faced 4 guys, pitched an inning and a third.
We're going to start calling him the tourniquet.
You gotta like to see that, and you know, maybe he was on the radar to be brought up or not, but my understanding is the staff of the Indianapolis Indians pushed very, very hard. They pushed the big league staff very, very hard to give him a look and bring him up.
Whatever the reason, it gets up here if you take advantage of it, so they will remember his name. You know, unless it completely falls apart, you take advantage of opportunities. That's why they call it auditions and getting a look. I mean, you can't impress somebody if you're not here.
I know he told you he was excited, very excited. But how, you've been through it, how excited is he?
When you make your major league debut, when you get into a major league game for the first time, your insides are jumping all over the place. You try to keep a game face on, but it is hard not to let the stuff intrude that's going on around you in the big stands and the bright lights and the big crowds. Hopefully you're trained and developed enough to apply yourself to the job. And that's the one thing that helps you, because if you're aware of all that stuff, if you can become like an antenna. I mean, if everything's occurring, you're in trouble.
2 balls, 2 strikes to Andrew McCutchen. And 0 for 2 tonight.
And when you get done with that appearance, whether it's 1 batter or 5 or 6 batters or several innings, all of a sudden you get through with that and you start breathing right again. You start breathing correctly after you're done. And you look back and say, I did that. I'm here.
McCutchen hits this one to the gap in right center. That'll go to the wall. McCutchen heading for second base, and that's all he'll get. He'll stop at second with a double. His 32nd. Leadoff double for McCutchen in the 6th.
This is what you do. You get what you can out of this ball game. You're not going to win this ball game, but you paid for all 9 innings. You play hard, and then you show up tomorrow afternoon, you do it again.
That ball just ripped.
Yeah, the results can vary, but the effort should not.
And McCutchen standing at second base. Derek Lee at the plate. And he hits one hard and out of play on the right side. Well, there were some newcomers at the ballpark today. In fact, batting practice looked like spring training with a number of players in Pirates uniforms. No additions to the active roster, however. And the roster is where it's going to be at this point in time. It's up even higher than they originally thought.
There's no more lockers left.
No, it's a 38 right now. Derek Lee hits with a center, and that'll score McCutchen. Bottling it is Peterson, but Lee will stay at first base. And Derek Lee drives in his 11th run as a Bucko.
It's a hitting night in Pittsburgh.
Let's see if the Pirates can get their hit parade going now this inning. A little trouble by the center fielder Peterson with a baseball. It popped up on him. Hit him in the face. That's why he had a little struggle with it.
Andrew just has such a great stride. And it's always neat when you see a guy with a great stride and you slow it down with our AGH cam. There's a flow to that stride that's really kind of fun to watch.
Helmet takes a strike.
They'll sometimes do that with thoroughbreds. Horses coming around the stretch, and even with the horse, you can see the muscles and the strides they make. It's great to look at when they slow it down like that. And I guess number 22, you're looking at a thoroughbred.
Guy can run. And, you know, he seems to, he's hitting at the top of the order. Did fairly well, but he really settling into that number 3 spot where he hit for the majority of the season. And I think as you look ahead to 2012, that's probably the place he's going to be anchored in that batting order.
Well, yeah, I'm not big on batting order stuff because after the guy hits in the first inning, you know, you're going to come up at different times, different situations, the ball game. But you know, throughout history, what's the old cliche? You know, your best hitter's in the number 3 spot. Well, Andrew McCutchen's your best hitter.
You want to make sure he gets up in the first inning. One-two pitch to Ryan Doumit.
Activity now in the Marlins bullpen. It's just a matter of how long Jack McKeon wants Nolasco to be out there. It's to that point now. He's going to get up in the area of 100 pitches in this inning, so it might be a 6-inning program for Ricky. Ricky's in good shape to getting double-figure wins against it this year. As we said, he won 14 last year. The year before that, 13. The year before that, 15. So going to be another double win season for this right-hander out of California by way of the Chicago Cubs minor league system.
Grew up a big Dodgers fan. Ballpark pretty often. He was a kid.
You got to figure that's pretty much a similar case for Jared Hughes, who grew up in the Los Angeles area.
Well, in 1992, Nolasco was at the stadium when he saw Kevin Gross no-hit the Giants. And he said that baseball's been his life, and that was one of his big thrills as a kid, was to see a no-hitter thrown. Strikes out Ryan Doumit. We talked about some of the new bodies who are here today. A lot of the younger players who were brought in from minor league clubs to basically get a feel for PNC Park. Matt Haig, who had an outstanding year in AAA, an all-star. Brian Morris, right-handed pitcher. Gorkis Hernandez, who the Pirates want to get a look at. Kyle McPherson. Some of the players that came in, and Clint Hurdle said they just want them while they're around to use their eyes and their ears and observe.
Soak it in.
And try to understand. Have conversations with players. Have conversations with the coaches. And Clint is going to have a conversation with each one of them. He said he hopes it's meaningful. He'll talk to them about what they have taken away from this particular season and what they can work on to try to make that next step next year.
Neil Walker went through that. He came up as a guy that wasn't active 2-3 years ago. He was around, wasn't playing, but he was around the atmosphere.
Ryan Ludwig is 0 for 2 tonight. 1 man out, 1 man on. Derek Lee at first. His RBI single drove in Andrew McCutchen after McCutchen's leadoff double. 1-1 to Ryan Ludwig. 1-2 now. But it's important in the development, and that's the thing about baseball, is it takes time to develop players. Very rarely are you going to find a player out of high school or out of college who's ready to step in. It happens, but not very often. It just takes time to go through the system, learn how to be a professional player, learn the routines, and then when you get close, they'll bring you in, give you a taste of it. That's what these youngsters are getting at this point in time. And another youngster tomorrow, Jeff Locke, will make his major league debut. You want to talk about a guy who's excited?
Yep. He won't get much sleep tonight. Never came up in September, but I had the privilege of going to the Major League Spring Training Camp when I was 18. So that's the different end of the spectrum, but it's not the same because this is the big lights.
Ludwig down the right field line. Long run for Bonifacio, and he will not get it. Clint Hurdle talked about having the younger players around to try to soak it in.
I want them to really use their eyes and their ears. This is much about us getting to see them, thanking them for their effort in a tangible way. Also having a sit-down conversation with me that I hope will be meaningful for them. It'll be meaningful for me. Find out what their takeaways were from the season. What areas did they think they made the greatest improvement? What were some of the challenges they had to meet this year? Maybe you're still in front of them. And then maybe I can point them to some players and some personnel out there to have some meaningful discussions with while they're here.
That's a great approach. Clint gets a little look at them, gets a feel for them, what they're like, how they respond. And it's up to them. Make the most of this time. Don't go through the motions and look up in the stands.
Third hit of the inning off Nolasco as Ludwig now is 1 for 3. Talked about Jeff Locke making his major league debut tomorrow night. Kid from North Conway, New Hampshire, who has never been farther west in his life than Indianapolis, Indiana. He and I talked about getting on a plane to Los Angeles. He said he's never been anywhere with a time zone changed. He'll take on Anibal Sanchez. Sanchez a bit seasoned now as a starter.
That's going on. Randy St. Clair, pitching coach for Willie Fish, out to talk with Nolasco.
Now, Locke, the other day when I had a chance to talk to Jeff, wide-eyed, just taking it all in, and he said, this is the most unbelievable place. He said, I haven't had to introduce myself to a single person. Everybody's so nice. They introduce themselves to you, and he said, I've never been around anything like this. But he'll get his chance tomorrow. Become a big league pitcher. Garrett Jones at the plate now as he pinch hits in the pitcher's spot, which is the 7th spot. Jones had a pinch hit the other night, Wednesday night. First of 3 straight pinch hits in that game.
That's right. Jared Hughes remains perfect. Another inning and a third.
Jones had a pinch hit with 1 out in the 8th inning. Then Doman came up, had a pinch hit base hit. And then Chase Darno had come in to run for Garrett Jones. Jason Jaramillo had a pinch hit base hit and scored the winning run of Darno. Made it 5-4. The end of that inning got a little interesting with the base running, however, but 3 straight pinch hits ended up winning the ball game for the Pirates Wednesday. And Jones, hard hit to second. Infante to Murphy, back to Sanchez. And the double play. The run comes in on 3 hits, 1 left. We'll move to inning number 7 at PNC Park. The AGH cam telling the story tonight, at least part of it, on a 13-3 Marlins lead. Xavier Paul goes to left field, replacing Alex Presley. Some more defensive changes for the Pirates. Presley moves over to center field. McCutchen is out. And Chase Darno replaces Neil Walker at second base. Garrett Jones will remain in the game and play first. Chris Wiesop, the new pitcher, takes over for Jared Hughes.
Pitcher number 5. As we said, Hughes, terrific again. An inning the third once again. Nothing else across. No hits, no runs, no walks, no strikeouts.
1 pitch, 1 out is Murphy. Pops out to Alvarez. A lot of appearances for Wiesop this year. He and Jose Veras have had to do a lot of work coming out of the bullpen. Pitch to Morrison, and that misses down and away. Veras has 73 appearances. This should be the 70th for Wiesop. Ranked 2nd and 6th respectively among National League relief pitchers in appearances. You know, the last time Pirates had 2 pitchers among the top 5 in appearances, 2006. Solomon Torres led the league with 94 appearances, and Matt Capps was tied for 2nd with 85.
That's busy when you're in over half of your team's games.
Two balls and 1 strike.
I was talking to pitching coach Ray Searage about Chris LaRue and the run he's been on. He's absolutely terrific. I'm talking about when you're watching from the bench or watching from a broadcast booth, looking at body language and telling what the guy's in control. I mean, he's in control. It's his deal when he's out there. He's smooth. He's kind of deliberate. There's no rushing, and he's pitching with a great deal of confidence right now. Chris LaRue.
Good to see Chris having success. Figures that he will appear against his former club at some point during this series. And down on strikes, Logan Morrison. Wiesop with 2 outs.
Take a look at this strikeout. 2nd out here in the top of the 7th inning. Breaking ball way down under the strike zone. Chased and missed. By the way, the effort and work by Chris LaRue now gets him with an ERA under 2. 193 currently.
Strike called to Gabby Sanchez.
A couple of quick outs for Wiesop here in the top of the 7th.
Got to meet Chris's dad Tom in Chicago. He was on hand for the Cubs series. Good to get a chance to talk to him briefly. At the time, Chris had given up a couple of soft hits here and there. Frustrating not only for the pitcher, but the pitcher's dad. But Chris has done very good work out of the bullpen this year. And you're going to give up soft hits. It's just the way it is, isn't it?
If you're out there often enough, you're going to experience everything.
Two 1.
That was not a soft hit.
It was hard hit to left. 2 out single by Sanchez. He's got 2 hits now, 2 for 2 with a walk. Gabby Sanchez did not start this game. Jose Lopez did at first, but Lopez came up with a leg injury, sore leg anyway, and left the game after getting a base hit in the 3rd inning. Sanchez came in and ran for him. He's been in ever since. And we also saw Mike Stanton, who started the game, leave a little bit lame. He's been battling a hamstring injury. Donnie Murphy replaced him, and Murphy went into short. Brian Peterson, the center fielder, takes ball 1 outside. Peterson, 2 hits. 2 for 4. He reached on a fielder's choice in the 5th inning. 1-0 pitch. That is a strike, 1-1. Incidentally, the Pirates made an announcement on who will start Tuesday's game. There was a TBA put in that pitching probable for Tuesday against the Cardinals. It will be Jeff Karstens. Karstens has missed his last 2 starts. And he had a good bullpen session Wednesday. Got a chance to visit with him about it. He said he feels 100% ready to go.
Good news.
1-2 pitch. And he struck him out. Throw down to first base. Strikeout 2-3. The putout. Stretch time at PNC Park, middle of the 7th, 13-3 the Florida Marlins. And now it's time to take you out to the ball game.
Fans, it's time for the 7th inning stretch.
Back inside the Trib Total Media Hall of Fame Club for our weekly guest bartender. Tonight it's former Pirate Jose Chico Lean. It's been a few years since you've been back. How's it feel to be back in the house?
It's nice to be here with a beautiful ballpark, so I'm glad.
And a long line of people waiting to sign autographs. That's got to be nice.
Oh, yeah, I'm glad they not forget about me, so it's good to know.
One thing I'm sure they remember, as we all do, was how you were able to jump like nobody else could jump. I remember, I think in the early 90s, maybe the late 80s, you jumped over Joe Gargiola. You jumped over Mike LaValliere. Could you still jump like that?
I don't think so. When you're young, you can do amazing things, but that was in the past already. So.
I know you've got a long line of fans waiting to see you. I'll let you go. Thanks for the time.
Thank you.
Jose Chico Lean. Back in the house, guys.
Yeah, his baseball card had him jumping over Spanky.
Well, I'll tell you, he had unbelievable range. He was all over the place at second base.
Gold Glove winner in 1992. Alex Sanabria makes his season debut for the Marlins.
Nolasco goes 6 innings, giving up 3 runs, riding this big offensive support.
1-1 pitch. Siriaco loops this one to shallow right. The catch is made by Bonifacio. Chico Lean with the Pirates, second baseman, 87 and 92 at 255. He had 6 errors in 92 and 745 chances, won a Gold Glove. In fact, he broke up Ryan Sandberg's string of 9 straight Gold Gloves and was the first Pirate since Maz had 5 straight Gold Gloves, so he could really pick it.
He was fun to watch. I mean, he was all over the place. He was on that 92 team that won the division. I mean, he got the balls that you didn't think he could get to. And you're jumping all over, very quick movements, and he was a bundle of energy. He was good to be around. It was never dull around Chico.
Well, the Pirates are pretty confident in his ability. He made his big league debut in late August of '87, and the very next day they traded Johnny Ray, who had occupied that position, sent him to the California Angels, and then Lean was in that position full time.
Well, you think of the legacy of Pirates second baseman. I can't go back all the way, but you go from Maz and you go to Dave Cash and the guys that have followed. I mean, it's been terrific.
Alvarez fouls this one off. Lean, when he left the Pirates, played for the Royals and also finished up playing 1 year in '95 with the Angels. That was his last year in the big leagues. So Pedro Alvarez with his second career triple, his first of the season. See if he can hit the ball a long way again. 2-2. Fouled off, and Buck couldn't hang on. Now, I really like what the Pirates do in the Hall of Fame Club, bringing back alumni to be guest bartenders and mingle with the fans there. And in the Hall of Fame Club, you don't need a special ticket to get in there. Just ticket to the ball game will get you in. Any ticket at all.
Just go.
We've got food up there, drink specials. It's a great way to see the game. Alvarez down on strikes. 2 down. So back to the top of the order, and Alex Presley.
I was going to have Rennie Stennett's name in that conversation about Pirates second baseman, and he had great range also. Rennie Stennett could go all over the place.
Had a good day against the Cubs one day, didn't he?
7 for 7. Little squeaker by the Cubs, 22-0.
Yeah.
You think this is bad? 13-3. Try 22 zip.
Presley to left. Ball curling away, and that will get down and bounce over the wall for a double. Morrison couldn't get to it, and Presley is in. He's got another multi-hit game. His 7th double.
And when you think about trying to establish a resume or a body of work, and you can't do it all at once, but Alex Presley continues to keep it going without going completely sour, without going completely cold. He might have a couple of bad at-bats, but he goes 0 for 2 in the first 2 at-bats tonight, and then a couple of base hits. So what you want is consistency, no matter whether you've been around 10 years or you're just trying to establish your name and your status as a major league ball player. Alex just keeps it going.
It's his 15th multi-hit game. And in the prior 14 multi-hit games, the Pirates are 11-3.
And just continually making a case for him to be a regular when you look forward to next year. No guarantees, but he's making a very strong case. Came into the game at .312, hasn't hurt that average with these 2 hits tonight, 2 for 4.
We're in Chicago. Cubs radio announcer Keith Moreland, longtime big leaguer, stopped me before the game and he said, "Tell me a little bit more about this Presley kid." He said, "Every time I see him, he hits. How is he not in your lineup every day?" I said, "Well, he is in our lineup every day now." Chase Darno trying to find a way to get him a lineup more often. Certainly Chase isn't going to forget his first time at bat in the big leagues. It was against the Boston Red Sox. Sold out PNC Park, hit a triple. Got his first hit was a triple. Nice relaxing night out on the porch, huh?
Yep.
Darno draws a walk. 2 men on and 2 out now for the Pirates against Alex Sanavia. Born in San Diego, lives in Chula Vista, California, a suburb of San Diego. Had a little bit of time with the Marlins last season. Ended up going 5-3, 15 appearances and 12 starts. And he made a start against the Pirates last year, late in the year. In Florida, it was the final series of the season, as a matter of fact. Pirates finished up with the Marlins last year. (13-3), Florida, bottom of the 7th. Xavier Paul will be the hitter. One ball and no strikes. Xavier entered defensively in left field last inning, moving Alex Presley to center. Andrew McCutchen came out. Clint Hurdle getting McCutchen and Derek Lee and Neil Walker out of this game. Josh Harrison left earlier as part of a double switch when Pedro Alvarez came in. Got Aaron Thompson in the game to pitch. Ball gets away and the runners move up. Presley down to third. Darno over to second base. Wild pitch charged to Sanavia. A game like this, you're just trying to win an inning every time out. You go out and win the inning. Is that good enough?
Have a good at bat, have a good appearance out of the bullpen. Not that you ever want to get away from a team concept, but do what you can to have yourself a decent night, a good appearance. When you think about it in baseball, people will argue with me this all the time. I say it's a lot of individual stuff in baseball. It's an individual game that has a team result. You know, individual contest between the pitcher and the hitter. The ground ball that the shortstop has to do. There's no moving picks. There's no pulling guards. It's all individuals, naked out there. But you get a team result out of those individual efforts.
Bases are full of bucks right now with another walk. Back-to-back walks issued.
Here comes Randy. Randy St. Clair coming out to talk to this young man. 2 quick outs. Fly ball, strikeout, double walk.
Jason Jaramillo will come up to pinch hit. Meeting on the mound continues for the Marlins. Good time to remind you about this Sunday. The Pirates and Marlins wrap up this series at 1:35. It's Kids Day. All kids 14 and under get Pirates slippers courtesy of Highmark Blue Cross Blue Shield. Come before the game early to the #1 Cochran Kids Fun Zone on Federal Street. Stay after the game when all youngsters are invited to run the bases. Thanks to H.K. Anderson Pretzels. To get tickets, visit Pirates.com. Another Kids Day Sunday here at PNC Park. Base is full for Jason Jaramillo. Jason, the new papa. Bert Badenhop and Sandy Rosario, a pair of right-handers, getting loose for the Marlins. JJ and his wife celebrated the birth of their first son a few weeks ago. Jason Cruz Jaramillo. He left AAA Indy to go back home to Wisconsin and made it there in time for the birth. And turned around and had to come right back to baseball. Then was called up after that. It's kind of the nature of the beast when you're a pro ball player. But he got to be there for the birth. Alex Presley, the runner at third base. Chase Darno at second. And over at first base, Xavier Paul. So good speed all around on the base paths. 2 men out. 2 ball, 2 strike pitch. And it's right down the middle for called strike 3. And the Pirates leave him loaded. here in the bottom of the 7th inning. Marlins 13, Pirates 3. On to the 8th.
By Levin Furniture, featuring handcrafted Amish furniture. Let's go Bucks!
Top of the 8th inning at PNC Park, and there is a guy who hasn't been on that mound since the 7th of June against Arizona. Evan Meek, who has had a long road back through rehab, spent 3 months in Florida. Down in Bradenton and a little time in Indianapolis. And Evan Meek, last year a National League All-Star, just to get back out on the hill here tonight.
And the first step of getting all that stuff behind it. 6th Pirate pitcher of the evening.
So Meek ready to get going here. Face John Buck. It was 2 out of 4 tonight. A pair of singles. Had an RBI single in the 5th inning.
Here in the 8th inning in front of a crowd at the beginning of this ball game of over 24,500.
First pitch is in for a strike. Expecting another good crowd tomorrow. Should be a good night weather-wise, we hope. Last fireworks night of the season. And Buck hits this one up in the air deep to right field. And that will be caught by Ryan Ludwig for the out. Let's take a look at what is coming up on the Pirates schedule as we look at our Nissan Road Ahead. Tomorrow, 6:30 coverage begins. Sunday, 1 o'clock. Then the Cardinals come in. Monday, Tuesday, 6:30. A noon start for the coverage on Root Sports. That's the Road Ahead. Brought to you by Nissan. Vinny Rotino will get an at bat here tonight. Rotino pinch hitting in the 8th inning in the 9 spot. He was his September call-up. Came up from AAA New Orleans on the 6th of September. Made his debut Tuesday night as a defensive replacement in right field. Not his major league debut, however. He last appeared in the big leagues prior to Tuesday's game on the 19th of September 2008 for Milwaukee as a pinch hitter at Cincinnati. And he strikes out, so Meek gets him.
There we go, Evan. It's got to feel good to be back out there.
Yeah, Evan is very appreciative of the opportunity, and he talked about, you know, you don't realize how important it is to be at the big league level when you get there, to stay there. And when you don't have it for a while, you realize it could be taken away from you at any moment. It really appreciates everything about his job as a major league pitcher.
I've always maintained it's tougher to come back the second time than the first time because they've already seen your act. So you got to show them a reason why you should be bought back by them after you weren't good enough to stick around the first time, or you were hurt, or whatever happened. You've got to prove to the people that make the decisions you're good enough to come back. They've seen you once. There's a reason you're not around if it's not an injury. In Evans' case, of course, it was an injury.
Oh, what a catch. What a catch. Attaboy.
Give that man a contract. You know what they used to say?
Sign him up.
And give him a hat, too.
It's a screamer, and
that's a great play.
He probably saved a couple people behind him. That's some want-to right there. Nate delivers a swinging strike there. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Pretty good seats, too. Good place to watch a ball game. Yeah, that's fun. That's fun.
Two and 2 the count.
We're big enough here to catch a hot dog. You got a Major League Baseball.
Can't get anything up here. Too high up. Foul ball, Bonifacio. Two and 2 to the Marlins leadoff man, who's only hit tonight, came in the second inning. He did drive in a run with a sacrifice fly in the 9-run third. Last time the Pirates gave up 9 runs in an inning at PNC Park was 2005 in April against St. Louis in the top of the 9th inning. Three and 2.
91 miles an hour on the Meek fastball.
Well, last year he was consistently 96, 97. And there's been a drop off in his velocity this year. The payoff pitch from Evan Meek. That's into center field for a base hit. Time to check out tonight's Coors Light Cold Hard Blast. Omar Infante with not one, but 2 homers. This one was the second at bat in the ball game. He was the second guy to hit behind Bonifacio, made it 1-0, and then this one right off the glove of Alex Presley, a 3-run shot. Infante with 2 home runs. That's the Cold Hard Blasts. Those are the Cold Hard Blasts, brought to you by Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer. Infante with a gift-wrapped home run. That ball is going to be caught 9.9 times out of 10. But for whatever reason, it ended up off the heel of Presley's glove. Another inch or 2 to the other side of the glove, toward the web side. That's an out. And I think at that point, Steve, a sign of things to come in this game tonight. How it went.
That's the way it went for the Florida Marlins tonight.
Garrett Jones gives it a look, but that will be up into the seats. Strike 1 to Infante. Well, Tuesday night will be another all-access night here on Root Sports. Take you behind the scenes, places you don't normally get a chance to go. Maybe even into the Pirate Clubhouse. We'll have to see if we can work that out. We'll have an interview with the manager, Clint Hurdle, during the game. Jeff Karstens is going to start that game, so We'll hear from Jeff at some point, we expect. 2-2 pitch is ripped down to third base. Alvarez has it, goes the short way. Darno with the force out, and that does it. Evan Meek gives up a hit, but no runs. 13-3 after 7.5. Scoreboard 3-3 Nats and Astros. They're in extras. Mets leading the Cubs late. Phillies on top of the Brewers for the second straight night. They did beat them last night. 2-1 Braves leading the Cards in the fifth. Rockies up on the Reds early. Midway actually. No score. Padres and Diamondbacks. That one is early. Giants hosting the Dodgers a little bit later on. In the American League, Tigers keep the beat going, don't they? And the Orioles with a win over the Blue Jays. Rays beating the Red Sox in St. Pete tonight. Rangers doubling up the Athletics through 7. Indians and White Sox both trying to find a way to keep pace with those Tigers. Mariners and Royals later. Cincinnati's racetrack and casino scoreboard. Sandy Rosario comes into the game for Jack McKeon's Florida Marlins.
Sanabria, a shaky scoreless inning, giving up a hit and 2 walks, but escaped. 13-3. Sounds like a battle of field goals.
Yeah. Managed to strike out 2. Sanabria did. So Rosario delivers to Ryan Domet. Strike 1.
And he'll deliver it briskly at 94 miles an hour.
Ryan Ludwig on deck. Rosario with a spring-like stretch. And Domet bangs a single.
Oh, Ryan, keep it going. He's swinging a good bat.
2 for 4 tonight for Domet.
Right on that pitch. Not just a couple of hits for Ryan, but a couple of line shots. One down the right field corner, this one in the right center field.
Nothing in 1. Ludwig. Ground ball to third. And Jerry Meals at second base said the out was made on the exchange. I don't know if Infante had the ball long enough to make an exchange.
The act of throwing is the way they call it. Take a look. Throw to second base. Yeah. I mean, it's up for discussion at times, but usually that's kind of like the neighborhood play and a double play. They'll give you that call. You get that call 80% of the time.
What neighborhood did you grow up in?
Well, we had a couple kids that were all backyard, one garage door, all garage.
That was a real short neighborhood, real small neighborhood there.
Many times at that play at second base, even if the second baseman doesn't touch the base, actually I've seen it called, and they'll give the double play because the guy was in the neighborhood.
Yeah, more probably you think to protect the fielder, so he's not hung out. But as long as he's around there, he would have been. Jones rips this one foul. Boy, that went off the back wall right under the Buckle blast sign.
Play from this angle, second baseman gets it. Yep, you don't know what's going on in the glove, but you're going to get that call. Now, if this ball game is on the line, you're going to have a manager out there, and he will plead his case. He won't win it, but he'll go out there. Not in a 13-3 game.
Jones to left. Morrison a long run. He makes the catch, and that hurt. Logan Morrison crashing into the wall makes the catch. And the Marlins, who had two players already leave due to soreness in the leg, now have another one to tangle with, and Logan Morrison.
Doesn't quit on the play, makes the catch. I'm wondering if he had a little more time to brace himself, but takes a hit. See how much we can slow it down. Makes the catch there in a step or two, and it's just awkward contact. And they're going to go out and check him out. He's hurting out there in left field. And
it looked like, Steve, his right knee hit the concrete below the padding. That's what it looked like when he went in. And now really feeling the effects of it. Logan Morrison recording the out.
Real speed. Catch. Yeah. Real speed. Didn't look like he had as much time as I originally thought, so made the commitment. And he's given serious effort, even in a 13-3 ball game. You want to see that, but you don't want to see where he gets hurt. See, you got that padding. We can hold that shot for a minute. The padding ends right there, and that's concrete there. So if any part of that foot or leg or knee gets whacked below the foam padding, then you got an area that's not going to give very much at all.
The slice in the padding from the spike.
And there's a chance if that spike catches in there where it cuts the padding, then you can get a twist on an ankle or a knee.
It looked like his left foot might have hit the padding and cut the padding, but his knee definitely hit that unpadded area at the bottom.
So the AGH cam, he might be going to AGH to get some x-rays.
Morrison will get up and look to leave under his own power.
Or will he leave?
Well, maybe not. We'll see.
Had a chance when the Marlins bus got here to say hello and congratulate Dave Van Horn right there, inducted into the Hall of Fame this past July. 43 years as a Major League broadcaster, the Ford C. Frick Award for Broadcasting Excellence up in Montreal in 1969 when they debuted as a Major League team. Pretty classy guy. The Pirates recognized him up on the big board. And after 43 years, you really should be recognized. Hall of Famer Dave Van Horn. Had a chance to sit down with him. We're going to hear his words and his thoughts when we have the Greats of the Game interview before Sunday afternoon's contest for the Marlins.
Dave's always generous with his time. Gave me a little bit of it earlier today. So we went over the Marlins together.
Very excited about their new ballpark.
Yeah. So Logan Morrison is going to shake it off and stay in the ballgame. Probably just taped an aspirin to it.
Yep. Oh, they say, rub it, spit on it, and let's go.
Pedro Siriaco at the plate. 2 outs. Ryan Ludwig, the runner at first base. Strike 1 to Pedro. Siriaco with an RBI single in the second inning. He's 1 for 3.
There's still a lot of guys that have that philosophy. I'm not going to go out of the game. Somebody might take my job, and I may never get back out there.
That is a fair ball down the line. Ludwig will pull it to third base. He's going to get sent home as the ball gets away from Morrison. Ludwig scores, and into third base is Siriaco. It's 13-4. Logan Morrison having a problem negotiating that corner.
Yeah, that's right. We pick on the guy that was just down on his back, struggling to stay in the ball game. Gets the bounce around the corner like a hockey puck and finally gets it back in. But by that time, Siriaco's on third base and Ludwig is into the barn. So a couple of RBIs for Pedro. They award him a triple. Guessing triple, yeah.
Second guy named Pedro to get a 3-bagger tonight. Alvarez with the other. Pedro takes ball 1. He struck out looking in the 7th and then hit his second career triple in the 5th inning.
I had a conversation with Stan Savran before the game tonight about the shortstop position for the Pirates, looking ahead to 2012. And Siriaco's name comes up, of course, Cedeno, d'Arnaud, and who knows what might happen during the course of the winter. Pivotal position for the Pirates, and it would be addressed. Came up as a question of auditions, and won't be the only audition area that the Pirates are looking at for the rest of this month, the winter time, and spring training.
Chase d'Arnaud, a candidate. No, Pirates will be having some organizational meetings shortly. I believe at the beginning of the next road trip, they'll be having some more chats as a staff, sitting down and talking about personnel and see what they want to do the rest of the way and into the offseason. Alvarez walks.
And from what I understand, a lot of players discuss what their abilities are, their pluses and minuses, and there will be guys that campaign for different players that they feel strongly about, and you want to hear those opinions. And they will hear all of them. Jack McKeon has established an opinion right now on Mr. Rosario.
Jack McKeon comes out and gets the ball from Sandy Rosario. Take a timeout, pitching change at PNC Park. Nationals say that Steven Strasburg will make 3 or 4 more starts. He also could pitch over the winter. Kevin Youkilis returned to Boston today. Got an MRI on his left hip. Diamondbacks celebrating the 10th anniversary of the 01 World Series. A lot of dignitaries on hand. And Jeff Karsten scheduled to start Tuesday against the Cardinals after missing his last 2 starts. It's also an all-access night.
10th anniversary of that 01 World Series. Is that Craig Counsell?
Luis Gonzalez. And here is Jay Bell coming in to score the winning run, beating the Yankees.
Yep, there's Tony Womack, former Pirate, up on top of the pile. Former Pirate Jay Bell. Tony Womack involved.
Top of the order for the Pirates, 2 outs and runners at the corners. And Chris Hatcher delivers a strike to Alex Presley. Bam for a strike. Alex Presley, his 15th multi-hit game of the season after he doubled in the 7th. An RBI single back in the 5th. Oh-2 coming. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Hatcher is out of Kinston, North Carolina.
Very familiar with that. Spent a summer there.
It's been a minor league town for how long?
A lot of years.
Long time.
Indians had it for a long time after the Pirates.
One-two to Presley. Struck him out. Hatcher comes in and makes quick work of Alex. Pirates manage a run and got a couple of hits and left 2. Miami revitalized baseball in Florida. We asked you to text 1 or 2 for yes or no to 412-412. The majority, although not a vast majority, small majority, believe that yes, it will revitalize baseball in South Florida. Next year, the Florida Marlins will no longer be known as the Florida Marlins. They'll be the Miami Marlins.
Yep, and the operative words are for how long. It will revitalize, as we were talking earlier, for a period of time. And then if they play good baseball in that new yard, it'll keep it going. Simple as that.
Final results of our DQ text poll question will be on the post-game show, so stand by for those. Top of the 9th inning. And left-hander Daniel Moscas enters the ball game. He'll face third baseman Matt Dominguez.
7th. Pirate pitcher of the evening.
My scorecard looks like a spring training game.
Mine looks like the bottom of a parakeet cage. It hasn't been cleaned in a while.
Broken bat roller to short. Pedro Siriaco throws out Dominguez, one down. Donnie Murphy, the shortstop.
Well, I think we're at the point of this ball game where both teams want to get on the other side of it.
Start thinking about tomorrow night. Jeff Locke will make his major league debut for the Pirates tomorrow night. Start of the year in Double A. Now reached his third level. This is the final level. Can't go any higher than this one.
Just want to see that headline, Sunday morning's paper. Jeff locks up the fish.
He's got a name that is a headline writer's best friend, you know.
I remember back in the days, the sporting news, when they used to fool around the headlines. Bucks Bailey blasts Braves. You know, they used to play with the initials and all that stuff.
Yeah. See Jeff in the dugout talking to Charlie Morton and Mark Strittmatter. Strittmatter on the near side, and there's Charlie. I'm sure Jeff's trying to learn as much as he can from the guys who've been out there. Anxious to see him go. In fact, he came over with Charlie from the Braves in that deal for Nate McClough. Remember, he was a low minor leaguer at the time. Well, Murphy with a 2-ball, 2-strike count. The 2-2 pitch from Moskos. Ground ball to second. Chase Darno will throw him out. And there are 2 gone now in the ninth. Moskos yesterday at Seven Springs took part in the Sporting Clays invitation. He also, along with James McDonald, did a little fishing, and he caught the biggest fish. Moskos did.
It's appropriate that we're playing
the fish. He caught I believe it was a 26-inch brown trout out of one of the lakes up there. 0-1 pitch. I asked him about it. He said he also caught a bass. I think it was a largemouth bass. So he had a cast and blast yesterday. Fishing and shooting.
Well, it's great fishing up in that area, up in the Laurel Highlands. A lot of great trout streams. A member of our alumni, Tom Qualters, who is a fish and game warden. I've got the title right, but spent a lot of years up in that area, making sure everybody was going about their fishing and hunting the right way.
Yeah, those guys are good guys to know. Morrison goes down looking, and a clean inning for Daniel Moskos as he retires the Marlins in order in the top half of the ninth. PNC Park, along with Dan Potash and Steve Blass and Tim Neverett. Pretty night in Pittsburgh, but the score's not very pretty.
34 hits in this ball game. Not a fit night for man, beast, or pitcher.
Chris Hatcher will remain on. Came on and struck out Presley. The only man he faced in the bottom half of the 8th inning.
And not a save situation.
Yeah, I was going to ask you. I wasn't sure. If it's 9 runs in the 9th, is there a rule for that?
I don't know.
It's a secret of the pros.
There are
9th hole at 9.
There are rules for that in youth baseball. It's called the mercy rule.
Well, but the magic number was 9. It was 9 runs in the 3rd inning for the Marlins. 10 hits. They set a franchise record for most number of hits in a single inning. Ross Ohlendorf started, went 2+, gave up 10 of the 22 hits tonight. Daniel McCutcheon came in, didn't fare that much better, but in a much shorter period of time, went 2/3 of an inning, gave up 3 runs on 4 hits. Chase Darno with a 1-ball, 2-strike count. Three straight years Darno was an all-star in the minors, 08, 09, and last year in 2010. This year he has split his time between the minor leagues and major leagues. Getting his first taste of it this year. Hatcher stretch and the 1-2. Bounce it to short. Donnie Murphy throws out Chase Darno, 1 away. Xavier Paul coming up for the 2nd time. He walked his first time up. You know, if this were football, you'd have to stew about this for a week.
But tomorrow you get to spit it out.
Usually, for most players, they can just kind of shower the game off and then worry about it the next day, you know, or for maybe an hour or so. Some guys less, some guys take more time, and then it's over. Start preparing for the next day mentally and get ready for it. You can't let a loss linger. The only guy that really it affects is the starting pitcher.
Ross Ohlendorf will not forget tonight for a while.
Two and 0 to Xavier Paul. 2-1. Tough night for Ross, and hope that he can rebound, find his way. This has been a very, very tough season for him in a lot of ways.
Stand-up guy still in the dugout, not hiding from anybody.
2-1 pitch. It's 2-2 to Xavier. Checking to see if there's a crack in the bat. Sometimes it'll sound a little different when you bang the handle down. Satisfied with the condition of the bat, he's ready to swing it again. Hatcher ready to deliver. Here's the 2-2. Poke foul and out of play. Another fireworks night tomorrow, the last one of the season. We hope that you were able to join us in either place, PNC Park or right here on Root Sports. Busy day tomorrow on Root Sports. A couple of football games leading into the Pirates game.
That time of year.
Yes, sir.
There will come a time in October where there's NHL, NFL, MLB, all kind of sports going on. College football. Busy time of the year for sports.
Ball pops up, and Dominguez in foul ground retires him, so the Pirates down to their final out tonight. Brandon Wood will come to the plate in his first swings of the night. So what is it about this Florida Marlins team? They have had good success over the Pirates. You go back to July 4th of 2009, and since then 11-2 against the Pirates, and working their way to 12-2. Swept the Bucks this year already in South Florida back in April.
You got a situation that this team is going to change their name to the Milwaukee Marlins.
No, we don't want.
I mean,
no.
They've been just as tough on the Pirates as the Brewers, but not going back quite as far.
There's a base hit to center, and the Pirates with a pulse.
And the Pirates with 13 hits.
Normally that's a pretty good night.
But if you get 13 hits, you better squeeze out more than 4 runs out of it.
Well, the long ball has belonged to the Marlins. Infante with 2. And Morrison with 1. The Pirates are sitting on a season high streak of 5 straight games with a homer. They don't have one tonight. Second longest active streak in baseball behind the Baltimore Orioles, who've homered in 6 straight. Dromit's been part of that streak. He hit a home run Tuesday night against Houston, his 8th of the year. 55 home runs as a Pirates catcher. 3rd all-time on the Bucks list. In that position. 1-1 to Ryan Domit. Domit 2 hits and 4 trips. Now it's 2-1. Marlins have activity in the bullpen, by the way.
Say it ain't so.
He's ready, too. Brian Sanchez out there. He's already warmed up. 2-1 pitch. He won't be coming in. Sanchez will take it himself, and that will end the ball game. An inauspicious beginning to this series with the Florida Marlins, as they drop the opener 13-4, out hit 22-13. Velasco gets the win. Ohlendorf takes the loss. Stand by. Pirates postgame coming up next.